Natalia, welcome.
Thank you, Jack. And if you're able to, could you please stand and remove your hats? Join the coaches, the players and the umpires for the Australian National Anthem to be performed by JL Weiner.
Our beauty rich and rare in history's page, let every state have us Australia fair. In joyful stress and let us sing our glad Australia fair.
Amazing rendition and a huge atmosphere at the Oval. You can hear it pumping through the stands. People just beginning to take their seats. And September and finals footy has come to Fox.
Yeah, it has. At Thursday night footy, you couldn't ask for a better opener. They only played 3 weeks ago, these two sides, and there's plenty of spite in between them as well. It's going to be fantastic out on the field. The Crows, as I mentioned, haven't been here since 2017. The Pies were the oldest team in the competition and the most experienced as well.
The most even year we've had for 2 decades, and an opportunity for this team playing at home to go straight into a prelim to get to the grand final. You look at the other end of the ground, they've been there before. A couple of years ago, the Pies, they lifted the cup. They know what's installed. They know what's coming tonight. Who's going to handle it better? Is it the experience of the old campaigners from the Pies, or the young unknowns from the Adelaide Crows?
Are you expecting something a little bit hot in the first 5 or 10 minutes of this?
Well, you'd hope so. We've waited a week and a half for this to really get going, and I can't wait for this to start.
Craig McRae spoke to you pre-game and said it is about taking risks. You will see risks tonight. What does that look like for Collingwood?
Yeah, good call. It looks like risks in terms of selection. McStay out, Cox in. Who knows what that brings? We haven't seen him dominate a game for a while. Is Daicos going to go to full forward? Is DeGoey going to spend time in full forward? That's what he's talking about. But he's asking his players to be brave, take risks, put it to the Crows.
Tails the call. It's heads. All the best, guys. Bit of a delay, but Dawson wins the toss and elects the end. He would like to kick to. We saw Nick Daicos named the most valuable player from his fellow players. 3 All-Australian jackets, a premiership, such a young man. What do Adelaide do about the number 35 tonight?
I think you've got to pay attention to him closely. They probably won't tag him. It hasn't been the Adelaide way to tag him, but maybe Neil Bullen just runs with him for a little bit early on to make sure that he knows that Adelaide are watching him. But we think he's going to be used everywhere tonight in Daicos, and that's the absolute ability that you've got with him. Is you can put him in the middle, you can put him to half back, you can put him to half forward, potentially full forward as Kenny's talking as well. So what a great weapon to have, and cannot wait to see what he does tonight.
His brother plays his 150th game tonight, so the stage is set. It's been a beautiful day in Adelaide. What's the keys for either side tonight, David?
I just think the back line. I mean, we've talked a lot about the Crows' numbers and what they've been able to do defensively. The Rundle Maulers, the back six, they just get it done. No, you can't score against them. You can't mark the ball inside 50. They've done it against the best. That's what I like. But can they stay strong tonight in what will be a frantic start? Collingwood are going to throw everything at them in the first 5 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if Matthew Nicks put someone to Scott Pendlebury. Can't allow the champ to get rolling.
Huge build-up. The music is stopped. The footy is ready. September is here. And no better man to call it than Matty Hill.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Finals footy on Fox. A packed house. Not even standing room only. Adelaide and Collingwood. Cameron with the first tap down only as far as Berry. Berry in space for Adelaide. First foray inside 50. Phil Thorpe pushed under the football. Regathers. Neil Bullen. Hurried snap. Marked by Maynard. 50.
To a chorus of boos, and they'll only get louder. they realise the 50 is there. Maynard aggressive, not messing around, straight down the middle. Daicos arrives on the scene. Berry got the early clearance. The Crows drive it forward, but Frampton is at centre-half back.
Yeah, so Frampton has the job on Phil Thorpe. He's had it twice already this year, going with what they know.
Pendlebury, the Legends' first touch, finds Schultz at half-back, and the first opportunity just to steady. Back to Pendlebury. Of course, this is the fourth time these two sides are meeting in a final. Collingwood has beaten Adelaide every time. Maynards rallies the troops, kicks it long down the line, looking for Cameron. Nudged O'Brien out. Schultz goes to ground. Going through was coming, and he's wrapped up over the line.
I think back to 3 weeks ago when these two teams met in a very close game. Collingwood were very aggressive early on using the middle part of the ground. You can see it's being a little bit more casual, a little bit more smart around the ground.
Michael Annie back after 3 weeks out with a hamstring. And Petler also comes in for the Pies. Mason Cox gets a start, as does Parker.
So as we thought. Yep.
We'll keep an eye on that. Daicos trying to grab it with one hand. Crisp. Immediately caught, nowhere to go.
And both teams got the extra man behind the ball from stoppage here. Darcy Moore clear at one end, looks like King at the other.
O'Brien won it down. To go a few little concerns during the week. Nick Daicos takes it over.
No breeze to speak of. Perfect night in Adelaide. Cameron and O'Brien meet on the wing. Schultz. No real flow to the game early.
Talk about juicy matchups. Jordan Ngoe and Jordan Dawson. A couple of weapons there.
Doesn't look like anyone with Nick Daicos either.
O'Brien thumps it down. Nick Daicos, the gather was fantastic. Does a little 180 and a darting kick was class to Schultz.
It's an amazing kick.
So Schultz, first entry for Collingwood. Elliott waits at the back and takes it.
Well, you have to go back to the Daicos kick. He zigged, he zagged, and he pulled it back on the left foot and set up this opportunity. And they're doing things differently. We said they're going to be aggressive. The coach said, take some risks. Left foot back into the corridor. That's exactly what he's talking about for the little champ.
His 13th year in the AFL. Plenty of experience. But I'm sure the adrenaline's still pumping early here. Kick 2 last week. Jamie Elliott saunters in. And it's the first goal of the qualifying final.
Oh, this is exactly what Collingwood wanted. Coming here in front of 53,000 predominantly Crows fans. They want to silence the crowd early. They're in a loud crowd, but this here, you talked about this kick here, is fantastic just to get it out.
So they let him roam free. I mean, Soligo's nominally responsible, but he's just in too much space. You can't clamp Nick Daicos in that much space, but that kick is amazing. Left foot back into the corridor. He took on all the risk. This is a half-mung torpedo. Fantastic dare. And again, you can just see there, no one knows where it's going. Murray's caught in no man's land, and Elliott outreads the pack.
I like this early from Collingwood, just forward footy. Pressure in finals, get it in your forward half. We know they had 71 inside 50s last time these two teams met.
With an uncertain future, a 53rd goal for the season for Elliott. Back in the middle, O'Brien. Out the back, trying to hack it clear with Soligo. Bouncing ball. Collingwood's got the numbers at ground level, just hooked round the corner by Perryman. Crows managed to keep it in. Back by hand, Worrell smothered.
Extraordinary noise around the stadium early.
Great challenge for the young Crows as well.
Cameron and O'Brien lock horns. O'Brien down the leg, quick work. It's a long, flat ball. Held it bounce, Frampton, and it bamboozles it. And Neil Bullock, 1 strike, 2 strikes. Didn't meet the first one. It doesn't matter. He got it done. It is chaos in the first 3 or 4 minutes.
Well, we're going to have a review, I'll assume, but that clearance from land has to be seen to be believed. That absolute breakneck speed, it comes through super clean. Does he get a boot to this? Oh. have to go back to see if he actually got a boot on that before that attempt. I think we have to go back another couple of seconds to see whether he got a first hit on it or not.
Absolutely.
Let's just hope they're doing that upstairs.
Crows crowd are trying to support the goal. Collingwood is set up like it's a point.
I'm not so sure. There's a bit of daylight there for mine.
Yeah,
I still think we need to wind it back a touch.
Right. It's the previous disposal or non-disposal that we need to look at.
Which was close to the shin, the boot. Here we go, here we go.
This is the one.
Shin and then Billy's head.
Ball comes off the Collingwood defender's back last before crossing the goal line. Decision on the scoreboard.
Well, we did say it's a small margin industry. That is as close as it gets.
No noise of affirmation in the arc.
They tried.
Good mate.
So Scott Pendlebury in his 32nd final, passing the Collingwood record of Gordon Coventry, who played his 31st back in a grand final in 1937. Josh Daicos in 150. Here's the run of McCreery. Clever kick inboard, just too much on at the side bottom. Bond will be under pressure. Does well to get it back in the direction of Worrell and Miller. Good chain of hand by the Crows.
Soligo as they build to Murray. Murray full extension on the kick. It's in the Walker direction. Couldn't quite mark it. The thought was hovering. Maynard's quick hands. Pendlebury. Now Claynor with a scamper. Leaves defensive 50 with some booze to boot. And it's now in the hands of Lipinski.
Big opportunity there for Walker. He's got to take those. Big night individually, but a huge moment there for the team.
Lipinski off half-back to a contest. Elliott does well to spoil Membry. Houston, Nick Daicos to his brother. See something forward of the footy. There's a 2-on-1 and Elliott can't beat the two.
Yeah, I'm loving what Jamie Elliott's doing at the moment. Or at his worst, he gets stuck deep forward. You can see Bond here. That was a really pivotal moment to come up there and impact there. Still side bottom leading back. But Jamie Elliott not getting stuck to the goal square and anchored there. Coming up the ground. He's already kicked one goal early. He's got to make sure that he does his best work around half forward, then gets deep.
Hugh Bond, who you just saw, his 12th game of AFL. Such an opportunity. Of course, Steele for Collingwood, who's a sub, playing his 4th. So this is the previous passage. Gee, fast motion, it looked like a goal. O'Brien tapped it down, little bunt along the ground. Josh Daicos with plenty of territory out there. Kick in the Membry direction, and Elliott flew as well, got some airtime. Fell to Laird, back he goes to Curtin, who snapped round in the middle of the ground, straight back to Cameron.
Two straight line at the moment, the Crows, just dumping that ball forward 35 to 40 metres. The Pies got the loose man behind the ball.
Dropping territory back to Frampton. Looks to the middle of the oval, nothing really on, so spreads it wide. Needs to be perfect, and the kick is Perryman in front of Berry.
It's very one-on-one at the moment. Crows predominantly play a system defence. They've gone one-on-one early.
Settled nicely, the Pies. First through a look for Mason Cox. He's got 2 to beat, but he does the job by bringing it to ground. Hurried out of defence. Ground ball back to Perryman. Quick hands by Pendlebury. Here comes Chris on the footy, outside of the foot. Was to Elliott, kicked the opening goal. Bond gives him no room. Thought the ball had gone out. The umpire says, play on.
Laird, Neil Bullen, piercing ball. Pedler at half-back. He's had a few injury concerns over 3 or 4 years. Such an achievement just to get to this qualifying final out of play.
You just sense at the moment the occasion for Adelaide, just little things like their game system which keeps them up and going. A fumble like that, a missed kick as well. They've got to find their way into this game, whether it's just controlling the footy for a little bit, getting their hands on it.
Started well, the Pies. Elliott with the opener. A lot of the footy's been stuck around the wing. Daicos on Laird. Wrapped him up.
Just got to find a mark. I mean, they've had 13 kicks and only 3 have been effective. So they've just got to take their time. Got to settle a bit here, the Crows. Need their leaders to get involved.
Volley balls around, and then Dawson just slammed it on the boots into the first row.
You can understand the messaging is take territory. Let's just get the ball going forward, but they need some composure here.
So Moore, who's standing Walker in his 300th game, keeps the ball low, going early. It's Dawson lucky not to give away a free kick in the end.
They say finals are built on pressure. If you look there, bottom right of screen, 165 to 249. So Collingwood at the moment, they are everywhere.
O'Brien, then Crisp with the big fist forwards. Cummings trying to scrounge a kick. McCreary stole it off him, side bottom. Nick Daicos works the ball through for a brilliant goal. The champ with an early one for the Pies.
If you give this guy 3 metres, it becomes 5, and he's so creative with his feet. I mean, the skill level of this guy, just have a look at how he gets himself organised and fashions the kick on the outside of his right boot. Just watch the work he does early. Handball comes out wide, takes off, settles, and then bang, outside of the right foot. That is unbelievable skill. He's set up both goals so far, Nick Daicos.
I think the other point, Kingy, at the moment is Collingwood's hands. They are so quick and clean that they get their player out like that. See Daicos finish as well. Bo McCreary, who's under an injury cloud coming into this game, has been fantastic early with his speed.
Plus 34 inside 50s last time the Pies. They couldn't get it done. This time, 2 majors from 5 inside 50s. Nick Daicos has had 3 kicks, set up a goal and kicked one. Early concerns for the home side. Cameron, handy little toe poke back in the Daicos direction. Schultz just barrels straight into the feet of an Adelaide opponent. First sight of Thilthorpe and a mark. Low ball forward. Tex is one-on-one. Darcy Moore outplays him. Win for the Pies and the skipper.
We've spoken. He's got the biggest job in Adelaide tonight. Moore, McCreary dropped the crisp and they grab him. It's going nowhere.
Just that kick inside to Tex. He had all the space in front of him. Thilthorpe just kicked it behind him. And Darcy Moore trailing Tex in, then became in the dominant position. It was a really good lead from Tex Walker. Just needed to be honoured.
110th player in AFL history to play 300. Through the legs of Nick Daicos. Grabbed by Berry. Berry's flat ball towards the top of the square. Thilthorpe tried to use his body. Opportunity coming through fast was Taylor. Ball deceived him. And the Pies defence on it. Maynard to Josh Daicos, full extension on the kick, but it's going to come back. Really good climb from Worrell.
Got to find something short here. That's the one. Just find something short. Get a high quality inside 50. And blast it to the top of the square.
Curtin with the job. Can the big boys separate up forward? Goes in the path of Walker! The big Texan flies in his 300 and steadies the ship for the Crows.
But that's the entry they need. A calm, patient kick to the absolute hot spot, not a blast entry from 70.
It's something that we don't really see from Tex Walker, the big hang there and sticking the knee in the back. But as a key forward, and you've got 3 big weapons down there, don't kick it near the goal line and give the opposition a chance to knock it over. Put it in the hot spot and let the key forwards go to work, especially in game 300.
The 5th Crow to reach 300 games for goals 6, 7, 9. It's an important one.
Look at him get to him, Jack. I mean, if you needed someone to get themselves involved in the game to create something for the crowd, it was the big Texan to take a hanger at the top of the square. 2 goals down, you can't script it. Perfect kick from Curtin, as you said. Look at Walker, just dropping off the back. Yep, just drop it there. Thilthorpe's doing his work in behind. He just protects the big man. This is where these 3, they just work so well. They're 3 key forwards.
And if he gets the Darcy Moore matchup, that is where Moore is his most vulnerable. When he stands out in front like that and doesn't have his man in his vision. They finally got some uncontested marks and it leads to the first score for Adelaide.
The only player left at the Adelaide Crows that's older than the team itself, Taylor Walker. McCreary out of the middle. We know he's fast. He has to be fast. He gets rid of it in time. Parker, former cricketer, kicks it wide and punched away from Schultz by Hinge and out of play.
Pendle be up to 5. Worrell 3.
Clearances have been an issue for Adelaide the last few weeks. Early on, they're 6-3 in their favour.
Mark Rashido alongside Eddie Betts, Matt Hill, Jack Rewalt and David King on Fox. Phil Thorpe starting to have an impact. Quainer, and it's supported by Moore. Came back to a good defensive mark. He wants to go and be aggressive. Turned over though. Opportunity now for the Crows. Hurry ball. It's bouncing. It's bouncing. Look at the crowd. The skipper answers. 2 in a row for the Crows. And the joint is absolutely jumping.
And they're going at him. They're going at Darcy Moore. The mother of all clangers right there. He wasn't sure. Good pressure, good heat from the front. I think it was Phil Thorpe come across to smother, and Moore was in 2 minds. He didn't know whether to kick or to bounce, and in the end, he got rattled. As simple as that. He got rattled, the Collingwood captain, and coughed up an opportunity. You can see it here. There's a Dawson coming across. Yeah, Dawson, the captain. Captain on captain. And then he snaps the goal. What a response from the Adelaide Crows. On the rack early, back in the game.
What a follow-up from Fogarty as well. He was the first man there when the spill happened. But this is the pressure that 52,000 away from home puts you under. Even the Collingwood captain's cracking.
So big response from the Crows as Nick Daicos gathers through the centre. Darting ball, Myercheck. Straight off his chest, gathered by Miller. A Hinges kick has to be good, and it was in the end. It hit the chest of Curtin, continues out wide. Fighting for it hard is Taylor, and they snatch it off him. Houston, kick towards Schultz, but it's too wide, as you can hear the response.
Oh, this is hot. This is a hot game of footy right now. Poise at a premium.
Worrell, the recipient. Down the outer side, Walker will come again. Spoils Cox. Bustles his way through a pack. And he passes a touch error.
You just see now the shoes on the other foot. It's Collingwood that are fumbling the ball after dominating and being really clean in the first 6 minutes. Adelaide have got the ascendancy back their way, and the pressure and the crowd is pushing in the other direction.
Cox gives away a free kick in the ruck. Phil Thorpe, so everything just going the Crows' way in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Phil Thorpe, he's got Walker all on his own. He's a long way from home though. The Texan sinks it on the boot. Fogarty, was he being wrestled? The umpire's right on the spot. He's not going to get a free kick, and Collingwood can clear.
Perriman looks to exit. McCreery's going to need to be good in the contest. Gets some support by Chris. What is the role of Mason Cox tonight,
This is a big challenge for Mason Cox as he comes up against Riley Philthorpe in the ruck. And this is where Philthorpe sneaks forward. You've got to watch him post-contest here. Cox down to Long, limited room. Crisp, smother from Philthorpe, keeps it alive. Perryman with work to do. Crisp tunnel ball to Long. That was clever in the end, just threw it on the boot. McCreery wrestling with Bond. And it's going to be a free kick, and it's going the way of the Crows. Philthorpe's your man. He's got Mason Cox effectively at full-back. So Bond to the pocket, up they go. Walker waited at the back. Moore crashes the pack, and there's a whistle.
Collingwood's way down to Frampton.
Not a popular call.
Elliott and Daicos with the 2 openers, then Walker and Dawson respond. 1 point game. Living up to the hype so far. Needs to be perfect, and is. Pendlebury brings it to ground. Coming the other way is Peatling. Slight fumble, not able to get it clear as Michael Annie. Now an opportunity for the Pies. Lipinski. Quaynor back to the number 1. Outside of the foot. And here goes Houston.
Houston gets on with it quickly, leading out Schultz. The kick was deadly accurate. Houston just glides on by, and the little chip in the Elliott direction. Is he worried out of it by Worrell? No, he's giving away a free kick.
He's got to be careful he doesn't give away 50 here.
There's the booze echo around Adelaide Oval.
He'll take Jamie Elliott's best from here, down in the Edwards Beth pocket. Be on red alert, though, if you're on Mason Cox or a key forward here.
So he's had a confidence booster from short range earlier on. He's just going to prop it up with a centering one towards DeGoey and Lipinski. DeGoey lost sight of it. Long goes in over the top. Lipinski was able to hoover it out, but who's going to pick it up? Neil Bullen was better at the contest. Gets it out to Berry, and Berry's clearing. Kick towards the middle. Walker up the ground. Out the back it goes. Picked up by Keys and trapped and drilled in. And it's holding the football.
Toughest tackle in AFL footy, the open field tackle when a player is going at speed. And Billy Frampton there has done it to perfection on Ben Keys.
Goal-saving tackle. They were out goal side there. Beatley on his bike.
Perryman, little jig. Now looks to go inside 50 with a high kick. Cox is the target deep. He's outnumbered. Streaking through Check goes again. Tackling has been elite from both sides.
Check quiet against Adelaide 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and he's got the ability, needs the ability with no mistake to play a big game tonight. Finally a stoppage after end-to-end football.
So everybody takes a breather. O'Brien won it down. McCreary tried to fashion the kick. It was smothered. Elliott with a second crack back to DeGoey. Then it was smothered. And then Dawson throws it on the boot. Outside 50. Quaynor. He re-entered.
Sidebottom's telling him to go back and line them up to number 3. Doesn't look so confident in himself. Take his best, Isaac Quaynor. He's a long kick of the footy.
About 4 players have got to him telling him to have a shot as well. I'd like to see Bo McCreary have a crack at his left rather than his right just before 2.
Hasn't kicked a goal this season, just closed his eyes to envisage the job ahead. Now can he perform the act? Quaynor from right on 50. It's a good-looking effort from Quaynor. Has it got the legs? Not quite. Keen kills the footy. And it's through for a minor score.
You can see Brady Mychek was on the goal line. It started to drop right at the end. He was trying to block it through. They worked there on the goal line by Marquis.
This was the challenge a couple of weeks ago when they played in the home and away. Adelaide had awful difficulty getting the ball out of the defensive 50. Let's see if the Pies can gridlock this.
So Mark Keane, who's a fantastic story in himself. The Irishman sends it long. Dawson. Leader takes a leader's mark. Spreads it wide to the young gun Curtin. Set up okay. He hit it hard. Spreads it wide. Quaynor seeing them well.
Wanted to switch, nothing presented, so it's an aggressive kick in the middle of Adelaide Oval. Mychek trying to scurry it, ground ball clear to DeGoey. Long, scrubs it forward. Lipinski comes one way, Elliott with the body the other. Knew Lipinski was there, Worrell did well. Stood up, and he's precise and well covered on the ring.
So Pedler wheels and goes. Kick further afield. Moore, who just may have had his confidence shattered a couple of moments ago. Yeah. That's a good, strong mark.
That's their 9th intercept mark for the term. That's a huge number. They're on top. The key backs for the Pies.
Jamie Elliott a little bit proppy in back play. We'll watch that. More to the contest. Mychek flew, felled along. Quick hand Schultz over the top. Lipinski held it set. Worrell's there as well. Lipinski did well. Pats it forward. DeGoey goes in. Ducks the tackle of Neil Bullen. And it's locked up.
You can see what Patrick Lipinski was trying to do there. He knew that Jordan DeGoey was just sitting off the right. He wanted to tap it forward and get it to him. Maybe high.
So Darcy Moore's taken 3 intercept marks. They've got a problem, the Crows.
Cox to Pendlebury. Wobbles it right to the top of the square. And then we got a fist in front of Keane.
So he's coming off Walker, and Franklin's just picking up whoever comes forward, whether that's Stillthorpe or Fogarty. Got to get that ball to ground from an Adelaide Crows perspective. They mustn't be outmarked.
Keane, low one to Fogarty. Had a fair bit of it and paid. Advantage was paid. Paid a free kick in the end. Peatling gets rid of it in time. Bond, Curtin. Kick further afield along the wing. O'Brien Cox putting it away with interest and pushes him over as well and says, if you're going to deal with me, you're going to have to deal with that.
We said they were struggling to get out from kick-outs last time they played. This time they've already pulled that trigger straight up the middle, really aggressive. The first one was to a back. That one there, Ford comes at the ball.
Daicos back on the ground with a 6 disposal, 1 goal effort so far. The champ, there's his brother Josh. Here's a ball to be won. Off the ground, straight to Houston. So the former Port player spreads it wide to Quaynor, who's had a good start to this game.
Quaynor inboard to Perryman. Sees a man running out wide, and that's Parker. Parker's little chip to Long. Adelaide not manning up here. So Long, he's going back towards Parker, and he takes it. So Will Parker, 9th game of AFL. Leading his debut AFL match 104 days after his final game of top-class cricket. Kicks it towards the top of the square. Myercheck was the meat in the sandwich, and he's getting a freebie.
Yeah, gee, it's a great effort at a contested mark situation from Myercheck. He took full punishment from the Miller running back with the fly.
It was Murray that got him.
Sure what he's paid it for in the end.
Maybe chopping the arm, sort of took the body a little bit.
It's a great attack of the ball from Myercheck.
5-time leading goal kicker for the club comes in with no breeze to speak of at all. Just a volatile hill in front of him.
This happens. You know you struggled last time against him. It does happen.
Big let off for the home side. Centre wing ball. Fist comes from Cox, only as far as Saligo. Just gets away from side bottom, spirals it down towards the wing. Diving Daicos takes on a couple of crows. His brother's just so clean. That is aggressive. Into the middle, quite pale. Berry puts the head down, got one high.
Both Schultz and Michaelani to clear the area as Berry. Long ball in the Thilthorpe direction. Quaynor coming through with the spoil. Keys hit it hard. It goes to grounds. And a ball up.
It's like Nick Daicos has been told to take it on whenever and wherever he can by boot, Jack.
Oh, I think he just sees the option and just backs himself in.
Josh Daicos. Fogarty Moore gives him no room to move.
This is where they really miss the brilliance of Isaac Rankin in the forward 50. He just creates things from nothing.
So Cameron flicked it towards Maynard. Now Lipinski galloping after it. Traps it well. Standing start. Snap had to be accurate in the end, Membry.
Needed to take that mark there. Sort of got the last line of forwards there, Tim Membry. No one ahead of the ball now with just a little bit of a stop in players, allow players to get forward ahead of the ball. Collingwood forwards coming up so high just to help out their backs when they're under pressure with that dump kick.
Membry to the congestion. Myercheck worked his way to the front off hands and out of play. So in all of the chaos, any patterns early?
Yeah, the team are pretty much straight down the line from a Collingwood point of view, unless your name is Nick Daicos. You can take all the risks in the world, and I think that's great coaching. Get your key playmakers to play with some dare.
Jamie Elliott just getting a bit of massage work on the calf on the bench. Tight first turn. Quaynor straight lines it. Coming the other way was the big body of Fogarty. Side bottom needs to be clean. Sets a task for his mate Pendlebury. You never just going to walk through a tackle from Riley Fulford.
It's good from Pendlebury there as well. That's the sort of moment where you can cough the ball up and Adelaide is sweating on you just to hold it in. Even if you do give away the free kick, it gives you time to set up.
Pressure cooker first quarter. Berry got a little boot to it. And another stoppage.
I think the other thing at the moment is Adelaide are just kicking. 2.7 kicks to 1 handball.
Brian, Berry couldn't trap it. Cameron on hands and knees. Berry over the top. O'Brien, soccer skills, side bottom, eventually pummels the handball out. Hinge in a foot race against 3 pies. De Goey crashing in there. Worrell's handball to nobody. Hinge trapped it. Keys off the ground. Progresses at 30 metres. Marked by Maynard.
Plays on. It's got the time and space to get away from it. They've been good. Intercept defenders from the Pies early. Long lead. Myercheck brought down. Worrell clean with the left. Works it forward. Now the crowd start to rise. Fogarty's got the outside runner, streaking past him, coming. Crowd wants him to go. 35 on the clock. Drops one inside. 50 too much for Phil Thorpe, and it's another intercept mark for the Pies in defence.
It's certainly something Matthew Nix is going to have to look at quarter time.
That's 12. I mean, that's an unbelievable number for a quarter. Getting opportunity, the Crows, just too basic, straight line.
If they go Worrell at the front, fisted out.
Yeah, well, that's the most in any quarter in a final on record. 12 intercept marks for a term.
They've got to find a lever other than Rankin to find some angles off the ball.
They've just got to get the ball to ground. I mean, Matty Nix will be furious with his key forwards, allowing Darcy Moore and company to intercept mark consistently like this.
Dying stages coming. Stripped of the footy. Long goes off the ground. Nick Daicos accelerates away. Coming up with possession 8. Takes a bounce. Outside of the boot mark. Needs to be taken. It is, and it's by the Crows. Right on the siren. Great start to the 2025 finals. Couple of opening goals. Elliott and Daicos, then Walker and Dawson respond. Quarter time here. Collingwood lead at 2-3-15 to the Crows 2-1-13. 3 magnificent quarters to come here, and then the attention turns tomorrow night to the MCG, and a couple of heavyweights come together. Bailey Smith, Jeremy Cameron, and the Cats take on the reigning premiers 6:30 tomorrow right here on Fox.
Oh, folks, I tell you what, haven't we got a game happening here? It's the Magpies 2 goals, 3-15. The Crows 2-1-13 as 2-point leaders at quarter time to the mighty Magpies. Should have been more, apart from my check missed. A absolute sitter in front of goal. Tell you what, this game is red hot. To tell you what, this is a fast-paced game, no doubt. Later in the game, this is going to open up even more because the boys out there from both sides, this is super fast game. Back and forth, back and forth. It's exciting. It's a ring-a-dink-dink-dink game there, Eddie G. It absolutely is. I tell you what, the Magpies started off well. The Crows took a little bit of time to settle. Of course, they got that fumble off Moore, which resulted in an Adelaide goal, and that's about it, apart from the Texas mark. Tell you what, the Magpies have been... well, look, both teams have been peppering down their forward line. They both had opportunities. Tell you what, this is going to go down to the wire again. This game between these two sides is going to go down to a wire. The crowds are light. The players can feel the pressure ratings up. Magpies got to about 259 pressure rating in that opening term. That's what you got to do. This is the Pies of old. Definitely the Pies of the first half of the season. This is how they're playing. I tell you what, Adelaide Crows, they're going right. I tell you what, they certainly do miss Ranky, what they're saying in the call. Ranky is the wild card for Adelaide, and of course, he could be the player that certainly costs Adelaide Crows the premiership this year because they were red-hot favourites until Ranky went out of, 4 weeks. And the AFL did something bizarre, went from 5 to 4 for him. There we go. But I tell you what a cracking game, though. Of course, Jamie Elliott kicking the opening goal in the quarter. Let's just have a look at some of these stats before we go any further. Hey, the ins and outs for these teams. For Adelaide, Michael Lanny and Luke Pedler coming in, Billy Dowling, Sid Draper going out for Adelaide. The milestone games for the Adelaide Crows, Alex Neil-Bullen with 200, and of course Taylor the Tex Walker, big 300 games for him this evening. Of course, for the Magpies, coming in was Will Parker and Mason Cox, the big man, trying to get a little bit of height down there. And of course, going out, a couple of big outs there for the Maggies, Jeremy Howe and Daniel McStay going out. And the milestone for the Magpies is Josh Daicos, 150 games for him. Well done to all those players reaching those milestones. Let's just have a little bit of a look. There are your teams. Let's have a look at some of the player stats. Let me just reload this up, get it all there for you. Let's have a look at the goal scorers. The goal scorers, of course, all single goal scorers out on the ground so far. No multiples, of course, for Adelaide. We've got Taylor Walker and Jordan Dawson, both singles for the Crows, and of course for the Magpies, Jamie Elliott, Nick Daicos with the goals there. The disposal magnets, I tell you what, no one is really dominating this game. This is all about team effort from both sides here. Of course, Nick Daicos, the superstar, he's up to 8 possessions, leading the count out there just by 1 from Josh Worrell from Adelaide. And, of course, Harry Perryman on 7, Quainer, Pendlebury, Maynard, Ned Long on 6. And, of course, 6 also for Jordan Dawson, Daniel Curtin there. We'll just roll down here. The players are in amongst it. I'll just roll down these stats. We'll have a look at the team stats at half time, folks. We'll see how many inside 50s, free kicks, all that type of jazz when they get back there. But just before I go, I just want to have a look at the disposal count inside 50s. We might as well have a look. It's plus 25 disposal count already for the Maggies, plus 10 and plus 15. Inside 50s, both teams getting plenty of it. 13 inside 50s for Adelaide, 12 inside 50s for the Maggies. There we go. So both getting in. At least this game's a little bit better than, I know last game they played. It was very, very tight, but this is definitely a lot better spectacle to play. A little bit more open. A lot of intercept marks being taken. It's absolute cracking game so far. Just want to shout out Addy G in the house. Albert Wilson. How you doing? Tina's in the house. Valentina is in the house. Ice Baby in the house, of course. Ryan's in the house. Mark Coleman's in the house. Go Pies, he's saying. But yeah, I tell you what, folks, this is going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game all the way to the final siren. But we're going to head back down to the commentators and they'll take us into the bounce of the ball for the second quarter, where it's the Pies by 2 points. All I've got to say is, go Pies.
And Nick Daicos had the footy, and I heard you.
Oh, I just love watching him play. I love the dare that he plays with and the skill level this guy possesses. 8 disposals in the first term. And it's just his damage. I mean, he's getting first receive off stoppage, so it's considered an uncontested disposal. But Peatley and Saligo have to maintain control of Nick that immediate 2 seconds after you lose clearance, because that's where he's done all his damage tonight. As I said, 8 disposals, 2 score involvements. He's basically set up the only 2 Collingwood goals.
Clearly the number 1 player on the ground. And the pressure rating at the moment is the thing that Collingwood have brought as well. Mark Prosciutto's mentioned, and it's off the back of the intercept marks. 209 versus 166. That is the second highest differential in any quarter, in any final ever, Mark Howard. So at the moment, in the cauldron of the Adelaide Cricket Ground, they are absolutely doing exactly what they need to do.
So a real reminder in the first 30 minutes that we're in September. Collingwood leading by 2 at quarter time. Finals footy on Fox. Away again. Tap down to Long. He got rid of it in time. Side bottom tried to go off the ground. Gets a second chance. Picked it up. DeGoey was grabbed. He gets rid of it. First there was Laird for the Crows. And then Laird kicks it to a contest, and the Pies are going to come up with it. Parker has to be fast. He is. Just a dump kick. Wide for Lipinski. Ball still in dispute. Myercheck came out and met it. Grabbed by Lipinski. Side bottom by hand. DeGoey with a bit of space. That's dangerous. Elliott.
Beaten wide here, Worrell, but not the worst. But Jamie Elliott just ducked out the back, waited for Jordan to go to lock eyes with him, and then slowly came up in this nice sort of jab step here. That was impressive from Lipinski. Had to go for that ball. These slick hands again from Collingwood set themselves up for a mark inside 50.
Proppy in the first quarter was Elliott's had that remedial work done. Will be kicking right on the arc. So Elliott's kick, it's straight. Has it got the trip? You betcha! And the Pies fans at the Adelaide Oval, to a man, they're on their feet. He's kicked 2.
Well, right now it's the composure of the leaders at Collingwood, just getting it done. Right thing, right time. We've seen Daicos do it early. Just side bottom here. When the traffic was coming, what do? You just got to be harder. You've got to be poised. You've got to bring some traffic in. He draws 2 and he puts DeGoey into space. Calm minds under enormous pressure, and they get a good opportunity for the ball. If it's in DeGoey's hands, you're generally in safe control, but this guy's been a genius out of full forward. The timing of his lead, Jack, absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it just waited for the look away and then came straight at Jordan DeGoey. He's been excellent in this first final.
Elliott's got a couple. Collingwood take it out to an 8-point margin. And the next centre clearance goes their way. McCreary's on a long searching run at the football. Got Hinge for Cutney, leaves it for Lipinski, who's been clean when required. Chris, the Iron Man. Now an opportunity for the Crows. They spiral it down the outer wing. Tracking it back is Maynard. Fogarty, the two battle. Close to the line. Is it off the boot of Maynard?
Just got caught up in his feet, I think.
Have the shot, Jack, or top of the square?
Look, I think this man can have a shot wherever he is inside 50. It's one of those ones you let the shooter shoot, and he's certainly got the ability to kick this from here.
Very similar contribution from what he's produced over the last couple of seasons with 40 goals this year. He's right up against the fence. Getting some positive reinforcement from the supporters on the other side. Fogarty takes on his man, works to 35 and glances it across the face and out of bounds.
There's no need. I think Darcy Fogarty's got the distance from there. If anything, you just put yourself under a little bit more pressure. You can see there just came off the side of Braden Maynard's heel there. Just got caught up in it, but would have loved to have seen Darcy Fogarty just settle himself, go back. He's got the distance and he can kick those.
Elliott with the opener of the term. The Crows looking to respond. Going to keep it inside 50. Saligo left it behind.
It's like Keys is trying to get on the move. He's trying to do what Rankin can do, but no one can do what Rankin can do. So just watch him wrap here. Try and communicate with the ruckman.
O'Brien almost went himself. Ball pinballs around, and eventually it was Josh Daicos with the clearing kick. First one out there is Cox, and out. So there's an extraordinary record in finals, Mason Cox. He's kicked 10 goals in 12 finals.
Be careful saying that in front
Thanks
of
for bringing that up, Hilly.
Yeah. Sure, that's one we discussed at the pre-game meeting, to be honest, Hilly. Still got nightmares, the boy beside you.
Yeah, thanks.
Scooped out the back. Michelani. Can get rid of it. No, he did. High tackle. Advantage paid. Down towards the big Crow forward, Thilthorpe. Doing a good job on him early. Frampton, long way to go. Slick hands, long, side bottom.
Rolling football. Keen's the first one there. Myercheck. He slipped his tackle. And that's a good direct kick. So the Crows build with lead. He does the short option. Packed house at Adelaide Oval, as you would expect. Kick to the pocket. More. Another one.
Yeah, that's Tex. He's just getting beaten for positioning. Trying to start him behind Darcy Moore. He's leading him to the ball. Great play, Darcy.
So after an early issue, he cost a goal. He's been rock solid more. Although he's turned over to Keane, who, alongside his mate Wire, will just take intercept marks for fun.
Got to get the ball to Riley Thilthorpe on Frampton. You've got to challenge Frampton. This is the perfect time.
And they get the separation the forwards required. Another intercept. So what do they need to do going inside 50? They're not doing the Crows, David.
Well, they've got to build the ball. You can't be bombing it from 90 like that. But they've been good, the Pies back six.
Elliott hoping for Lipinski, had a couple of Crows, and then to go. He tried to split the middle, couldn't control it, off the ground long. And eventually grabbed by Michelani, who tries to steady the ship. He just overclubbed it a bit to Cumming, who was clever. Then round the corner to Walker. Over the top to Fogarty, who lopes to 55. A little chip to O'Brien, who has it. The ruckman can go back from 40 metres out with a set shot.
It was good build up there. They knew they had the advantage. They just needed the Collingwood players to commit up the ground. They created a 1v none inside 50 as the ruckman.
Gee. I'm not sure Solbon can just come through the mark like that. Maybe he's within a couple of metres. Lucky call.
Want $1 on it, Kingy?
To hit his foot or to kick the goal, Root?
Good goal.
So O'Brien comes in. And right across the face of goal. He's missed it by a long way.
Well, it's not his go. You see what Tex was trying to do. He was trying to wrap around the back of Riley O'Brien and prize the ball out of his hands. But the Pies, they were alert.
Having a pretty good night, Billy Frampton. 40-metre kick down towards Cameron. There's a couple of Crows. Hinge claims the mark. Play on. Saligo wobbles the ball forward. Phil Thorpe gets to the front position. Texas clean by hand. Brought down. Perryman immediately under pressure. Frampton, he's got Parker there for support. Oh, missed it. Missed the handball. Fogarty with a clearing ball to the centre area. Pendlebury under pressure. Ripped off the footy. The Crows are attacking from every angle. Stacks on. And they get away with the error.
That's finals footy there, that pressure there. You can see, I reckon Fogarty could actually tell that if he got a foot to the ball, he could actually get it out to a position where there are a chance of scoring. Pendlebury called play on. Tackles come from everywhere.
Crows pressing. O'Brien to Dawson through his boot of it. Smothered by Maynard. Maynard, it's at his feet and he just handballs, hoping for Pendlebury, or was he hoping for the line? It's going to be thrown in regardless.
They've got to get one to get aggressive here, Adelaide Crows. They've got to get someone to fire through the stoppage at speed and try and get the cleanest of clearances. Curtin looks like that man. They're really aggressive position at the moment.
Collingwood by 2 at quarter time. The Elliott goal's got them out to an 8-point margin. In enemy territory, they're doing well. To go. He size through, then just spirals it anyway. Can out of defence. Perfectly to Elliott. Bond tracks him, brings him to ground. Hurry kick forward. Cumming, side bottom. Good battle on the outer wing. Cumming does well to keep his feet. Goes back to Worrell. Now an opportunity for the Crows. Michael Annie. Chain of hand pass. Lead needs to be quick. Back to Worrell. Here's the important kick.
And it's not a bad kick either. Glancing across the contest, Neil Bullen gathers and goes. Long entry towards Fogarty. Spoiled by Maynard. A good contest between those two.
Gee, this back six has been unbelievable for Collingwood. They've put the clamps on these three talls and they just look listless going forward, the Crows.
Absolutely done there, Braden Maynard out the back by Darcy Fogarty. Incredible just to get a fist in there.
Inside 50s at 20-13 in favour in Adelaide. They just can't cash in, a bit like Collingwood in the last game.
Pendlebury, very slick by hands to Park. A little check side towards Bond, the juggler. Nearly held it.
They're scoreless from their last 13 entries, the Crows. So maybe they've got to look at this forward line. It's not working. Maybe get Riley to be a little bit deeper. Get Tex out of there for a while.
So off the ground, Cameron, rolling ball. Michael Lanny's going to be the first there, and then Long puts pay to him, and they lunge over the line.
It's the conundrum you've got when you've got three key forwards as well, is that how do you create separation when you're not getting the ball? They're only getting 27% retention when they're kicking it inside 50 at the moment. So Tex seems like the likely one to go up the ground and play half forward, even higher than that.
Tight on the line. Coming through his arms out. Pendlebury falls, but good enough to just squirt it back towards a teammate again. Daicos burst through and slipped out a hand pass to side bottom. Clever little feint. Cameron, they're working in a tight space. Collingwood, they turn it over. O'Brien, it's a strange kick forward. It lands on the chest of Mr. 300.
Well, he was first to move. That was the difference there. He took that first aggressive step back at the ball. So we're calling for a shift, and Tex just said, I'll take control of this. Trying to create something there, Steele. Outnumbered heavily. Just look at Tex on the move. Just slips in front of Frampton.
The good news for Adelaide is the inside 50 count, 21-13. They just got to start converting.
The crowd will tell you everything you need to know for a second goal. Taylor Walker. Crowd tells the story. Tex has got two. And the Crows draw within a 2-point margin.
It was an important toe poke from Riley O'Brien just to get the ball going. I mean, they're working hard. This is a great contest. Both clubs bringing their best. I know the inside 50 numbers. Just watch Tex here. He's first to move. As soon as he sees his ball coming back, he goes and Frampton's on his heels. Darcy Moore's out the back, who'd absolutely taken full control of this defensive 50. So good to see them get some reward for their hard work, but what a cracking game we're witnessing here.
Amazing week for Tex Walker. There's the Texan Shiraz that's been made in the Barossa this week. A 32-page tribute in the Adelaide Advertiser. He's keeping them in it. Collingwood by 2. Cameron almost catching it. De Goey Pinballed his own work. Nick Daicos dives over the football. They dive over him. Pendlebury goes in. The umpire wants to...
Yeah, you can see what Daicos was thinking there. He knew he dived on the ball, so he just sort of bought and tried to get off it. Smart play by Nick Daicos.
Cameron hands to the footy. Riley and Darcy.
Great story. Nephew Nick's came to football with his granddad when he was 15 years of age. Now he's got the responsibility with the Crows. Miller at Worrell. Dumping kick in the Walker and Thilthorpe direction. Bouncing ball. Moore the first there. Paddled it out to Josh Daicos. A looper over the top. Houston in full extension on the kick. Meyer, check and Keane. Keane trips over and it's going to be a free kick.
Great positioning there by Mark Keane. Out in front again. I know there was a slip here from Myercheck, but he's been out in front playing aggressive football. This is the first time we're seeing Adelaide switch at the moment.
They get it to centre half back. Driven forward to Michael Annie. Bit of possession footy, which we haven't seen from the Crows. To Bond. Little chain. Now to Curtin. He's going to have to be quick to get rid of it. Got himself in a bit of trouble. Good enough to get back into a position. It's a beautiful ball inside 50, and it lands in the hands of Pedler.
We marvel at Nick Daicos kicking the ball inside 50. Alex Neil-Bullen has just dropped this nicely into a little hole here. Played the little 2-on-2 game here. That broken tackle, though, is critical to get Neil-Bullen out. Open kicking lane. Just drops it over the top to Pedler. It was a fantastic kick.
Back in the side. 9 goals for the season for Pedler. How we'd love it. 10! 2 in a row for the home side.
How good is finals footy? I mean, this is a genuine arm wrestle. Collingwood looked to have wrestled some sort of dominance early in the second term and then fought back. And that's the first time we've seen the Crows have some time in possession, a few luxuries, work the ball through uncontested marks. Curtin he tests the water. He just probes. And can I get through this gap? Can I get through and pass side bottom? They're good enough to hold up. And he goes back to Neil-Bullen, who just flushed it. That is a ripping pass and a quality finish from outside 50.
There's the little moments like that side bottom tackle there, is that when you commit to something like that, you have to make it stick or just sit off and force Curtin to the boundary. Broken tackle, open kicking lane, a 1v none and a fantastic kick.
Luke Pedler only played 5 matches in the first 2 years of being a Crow due to injury. Only 4 games last year due to a shoulder. And 9 games this year. Thilthorpe gets a free kick. 50. And it's going to be a 50. Cox wouldn't give the ball back. So Thilthorpe is well and truly within range now. There's just a little bit of heat injected.
Yeah, well, he gives a bit, Mason, so he's going to have to wear a bit. It's a big 50 and a poor time for the Collingwood Football Club.
So Riley Thilthorpe, who kicked 3 goals in the final round of the home and away season, and the Beast come in and make them pay big time. Directly in front, Big Riley comes in and puts it through.
You just don't want to give the good players an easy one. And they've just given him an easy one, Big Riley Thilthorpe, playing in the ruck here against Mason Cox, who's come in tonight. Gave away the free kick. It could be only to one man, and Mason just didn't give the ball back quick enough, looking at the umpire. As soon as he put his arms out like that, that signals that that's 50 metres. You've got to give it straight back. I know what he's trying to do to slow it down, but it's 50, and you brought Riley Thilthorpe into the game.
10 of the last 11 inside 50s now to the Crows. Challenge right now with this centre bounce quartet. Got to bounce back, Mason Cox. Got to put that behind you. Nick's in there. Pendles is in there. McCreary. Huge centre bounce.
Giving up the last 3, have the Pies, and Crows are out to their game-high margin of 10 points. Crowd right behind them now. McCreary does the job. Houston smothered by the big-bodied Berry. Tracks it back. Finds a bit of space, Berry. Miller kicking under pressure, wobbling towards Cox. Does well going back with the flight.
Couple of quick fire involvements after giving away that 50.
Good tap out and then a good mark there. He's got to earn it back because he owes him one.
Cox. Down the line he goes. Still the thought at his side at the moment.
I think he's more value to them tonight in the ruck.
Gee, it's a risky ball. That was of no value. Goes to Memory, getting him on the turnover, side bottom.
Just needs to take a breath here, side bottom. Predominantly Adelaide players in his own forward 50. Find the short lead. Essentially, he's kicked a goal in a grand final like this.
Massive roost in the grand final, side bottom, and this is what they need just to get some momentum back. Turnover in the back half, opens the door for side bottom. The eyes are darting. It'll take his very best. Committed to the club again for next year. Side bottom. Hits it right to the teeth of goal. There's some wrestling going on. Cameron nearly took it, then crunched into the post. And he's a bit sore.
Mark Keane's come off second best as well, holding his shoulder at the moment. That's a big watch.
Worrell to Walker. Bit of air again for Tex. Plays on looking for Peatling. Quaynor just overclubbed it a little. Quaynor read it better.
Keane staying out there. Crane has been influential. Wants the middle and goes for it. Sets a task for Cox. Hits the pack hard. Falls to Lipinski. A little bit uncertain. Spreads it wide to Schultz. He wanted to go. Took a step. Now called to play on. Pierces the ball inside bottom. Will get a shot from a range he will enjoy.
Well, he lost his advantage there, like he should, by taking a step and got into an uncomposed position, but then the composure, you can see, gee, that is a big hit on the goal post there. Darcy Cameron. I've got a blood rule here as well at the moment, but to find just side bottom, just smart.
That last counter punch, Tex took the big contested mark. They played the patient game really well. The Crows, the previous 2 to 3 build-ups, just the fast turnover just caught the defence out of position. He won't miss 2 in a row, Steele.
That's a big clash with the post. Steele side bottom. Game 3-5-3. Kicked 12 goals for the season. He has to wait for the player to be replaced. So he's had a lot of time to think about it. With the eyes of 50,000+ on him, side bottom, to break a run of 3 goals. The way of the Crows. The number 22 from 30 out. It's coming. He's a man for the biggest of moments. Is Steele. And the Pies grab one back.
Never let you down, Steele side bottom. Absolute class. Loves these moments. He just wants the opportunity to influence for his team. Had a sighter moments ago. Just the fast turnover on the outer wing. Find a dominant position. And this aggressive kick here. I like this from the Pies. I think they are to win tonight. They've got to challenge Adelaide. Play long down the line. It suits them. Lipinski's been important.
It's a bit of a quirk about Adelaide Oval as well, is that it's not as wide as the MCG where the Pies play a lot of their footy. So a bit more of a riskier kick actually opens up both lanes. You can go skinny and come through the corridor as well there. So Collingwood looking to use that to their advantage.
To Goey, crisp, off a step, reflects off the boot of Neil Bullen, but Goey overran it, picked up by Saligo. Handball over the top. Taylor overruns it, grabbed by Josh Daicos. Long-range ball, Schultz wasn't ideal, back to Taylor. Throws it on the boot, it's an up and under. Moore set himself and snatches it in midair.
Darcy Moore racking up the intercepts, Kingy, in the air.
Oh, he's absolutely on fire at the moment. That's his 5th intercept mark, his 7th intercept for the game.
Plays on the skipper, the premiership skipper. Sends it down to Myercheck. A few to beat. Murray took care of the contest.
So they've got to get that right, 4 of the ball. They're allowing Frampton and Darcy Moore and Quaynor to work together to roll off their direct opponents. So they've got to isolate better. Fogarty's the one that's probably getting caught out of position too regularly at the minute.
Fascinating final 7 minutes. Who's going to get the momentum into the main break here? DJI, front and square with the crumbs. Long, Josh Daicos. Long kick inside, 50, Membry wrestling. Murray beat into the punch with the fists. Ball still in dispute. Bounce to Neil Bullen. To Murray. They exit D50 over the head of Peatling. Walker couldn't quite grasp it and out.
Darcy Moore just patrolling at the moment in the deepest position. He's the general down back there, trying to choose when he comes up to impact the contest. He's playing off a half forward at the moment.
Last 6 games between these two sides have been decided by 10 points or fewer. It looks like it's heading that way. We hope it's heading that way. Insufficient is paid, much to the unhappiness of the local crowd who are in full voice tonight.
DJI. Another entry inside 50. Cox at the back. Houston's kick. Up and under. Touched off the boot. Schultz off the ground. That'll do in these pressure situations. Biacek scrambles it to Elliott, who can be miraculous. Oh. And just across the face of goal this time.
He looks dangerous.
He's so dangerous at the moment, Jamie Elliott. On the ground and in the air.
He's kicked a couple, as has Taylor Walker for the Crows. Worrell disguises the kick beautifully to his skipper in Dawson.
Yeah, I like this. The patient approach from the Crows has worked. There's no need to rush. They've lost a little bit of composure, ball in hand, in this first half.
Kicks to a contest. Moore will come from the side, and a fair piece of it. Opens it up for his opponent in Walker. Pedlar in the green boots, keeps it in play. Gets through 1, 2 and 3 somehow. Squeezes it forward the keys. Not the required distance. Not indeed. Come here. Come here.
This is incredible by Pedlar here. Just to get a foot on the ball there. You're right, that didn't go 15.
Soligo almost grabbing the football. Josh Daicos was there instead. And Spears one down the line. Membry not quite. Goes after his own ball and then side bottom tee. That was a hard contest. Comes out now to Peatling. Worrell. Michael Annie. All combined. Kick inside 50. Up they go. Pedlar out of position. Moore was in the front spot. Long spilled his lollies. Got it to Maynard. Off a step. Just throws it on the boot. Elliott's at the back. There's no one inside 50. He pats it forward towards Biacek and then back to Elliott. Can he scamper after it and pick it up? No, he can't. Worrell did well to put his body into the position, and Miller was there in concert with him as well, but they've coughed it up. Houston has it.
Straight over to Houston. It was clever by Bond. He just pushed the ball on the ground. We'll get another inside 50 here. The Pies, though, they press. There's a man clear. And it is Jack Crisp. Playing his 261st consecutive game is Crisp. As we have a look at the big bump on side bottom.
And they had a few words afterwards, these boys. Side bottom went over to him and said that was a bit high.
Cal Wilkie's the closest to his streak. He's on 155 and Crisp's on 261. Hooks it off the boot to the teeth of goal, and Big Riley just stands up.
O'Brien over the head of Soligo, grabbed by Thilthorpe, just patted it to Berry. Side bottom got a fingertip to it. McCreary grabbed it. He was out according to the fans on the Crows side of things, and eventually the boundary umpire agreed.
It's a big last 3 minutes coming up here heading into half-time. Both sides wouldn't want to give up a goal here. It's how aggressive you do go with the ball. The forward half of Collingwood at the moment, you think they would be pushing hard forward.
Yeah, the biggest challenge in this game right now is Darcy Moore. He's playing it blind to the captain.
Cameron gets a foot on the throw-in.
So they've taken 19 intercept marks in a half of football. I can't recall that for a final. And when you look at what Darcy's been able to do, he's had 5 alone. He's standing by himself, isolated 80 metres from this ball.
Soligo with the crumbing.
There he is.
Flat ball straight down the throat of Moore.
They've got to do something about this. I mean, you're simply being out-coached right now with the positioning that you're allowing Darcy Moore.
Quaynor's centering ball. Cameron at the front, punched away. Long. Nick Daicos just couldn't quite control it. There's a whistle. It's going to be a free kick to Collingwood.
You can see just the direction there. That kick goes automatically into the centre square again. Collingwood really attacking that part of the ground.
Long's the recipient. He's got a short option. No one followed the dangerous to go. He plays on immediately. Drops it right at the top of the square. My check in from the side. Memory. Berry hacks it out of defence any way he can, and big Riley, the number 7, stands up.
50. Just Darcy Moore, again, is the only player in the defensive 50 for the Pies, standing all alone. If they go fast, it'll be another intercept mark.
Short to Dawson, then he overstepped, eventually got it to Saligo, couldn't control it. So, on the rebound, Quaynor to Schultz, who spirals at top down towards Cameron. Will it sit up? Cameron gets his boot to it. Oh, the athleticism from the big man, and Collingwood are in front.
They say the athleticism of the big man. What about the torpedo from the little man? Lockie Schultz had nothing in front of him. It was a quick turnover, and he just threw the torp on the boot out the back. And you'd think it'd be a small forward running on it from this turnover here. Isaac Quaynor's been fantastic in this first half, but this is the torpedo that just gave him something different in a final. And Darcy Cameron, the little toe poke, bit of class from the ruckman.
This back 6 of the Pies are on song. That they are keeping their hopes alive. I mean, Quaynor's been unbelievable. Darcy Moore's positioning first class, and they're getting them on counter-punch. It was a big gamble for Dawson to go quickly.
Pies bench loved it. They've kicked the last 2. They were 10 points down. Now they're 4 points in front in the shadows of half-time. Coming. Couldn't get boot the ball. Daicos. Josh, very clean. Whipped it out by hand. He'll go and get his own work. Step through traffic nicely to Chris. They've got a bit of flow now. The momentum's with the Pies. Just swung it back their way. Falling to Meyer. Check. Sends it forward. Oh, quite get the bounce. What do Adelaide do then? Nick's about Darcy Moore.
Yeah, well, firstly, they've got to get their composure back. They've become blast happy and just in a rush to get the ball forward. And Darcy Moore just needs a tag. I mean, I would say to Darcy Fogarty, he is your man. You're not getting us much offensively. Go and play back shoulder on Darcy Moore.
Saw a shot of side bottom there, 10 disposals, 4 and 6 and a goal. Hinge has it at half back.
So both teams happy to have the extra behind the ball. Of course, we talk a lot about Darcy Moore. They're getting far more from theirs than the Crows are from their +1.
Hinge, Thilthorpe had a bit of it, couldn't grasp it in the end. Neil Bullen, a little bit of spite between him and Frampton and a ball up.
Beautiful night in Adelaide. One of the great venues anywhere around the world for sport. Dawson with a high ball towards the flank. Thilthorpe hits it hard, runs into a teammate. Long, Pendlebury, just that slight delay was perfection to Josh Daicos. Accelerates, puts it out in front of to go. He's got a man coming the other way. Needs to be clean, keen. He's pretty good in the situation. Pedler with the bright green boots on. Here's a ball to be won. McCreary takes it, sends it out to Chris. On the right, a little massager. Good hands. In front of Warrell was my check. 49 seconds on the clock.
He hasn't had the biggest night, Brody Myercheck. He's been well held by Mark Keane. Keane came up to that contest to get involved. Myercheck actually snuck out the back, and that's how he created some space, and it was Worrell who actually ended up having to pick him up.
Brody Myercheck, 5-time leading goal kicker. The majority of those are on the rookie list. 36 goals for the season. An opportunity to imprint himself on the game. Needs to draw it back, not quite. 6 points in at 14 seconds on the clock. Half-time, get it done and get into the third term.
Full analysis at half-time by the best in the business on Fox Footy. As Hinge leaves the square, kicks it to a 2-on-2. Phil Thorpe at the front, and eventually Crisp's going to take it over as we get down to the dying stages of this first half. It was Collingwood by 2 at quarter time, and it's now 6 approaching half time.
McRae letting his charges know, just 5 on the clock. Cameron O'Brien's been a good battle. Peatling caught nicely by Long. So a chance for a skirmish just to develop here. Players are starting to come in. Dawson and Cameron are having a little word. McCreary and the Daicos boys. Collingwood players seem to be drawing out of it now. There's a little bit more heat getting into it. Crisp comes in. And the crowd urging them on from the bleachers. And still, they're pushing and shoving. There's Murray, who's country strong.
Tim Membry doesn't look happy.
The big man from Terrell, and I wouldn't be messing with him either. Darcy Moore pushing and shoving. And Tex comes in just to separate them all. Save your money, boys. Michael Lanning's lost his strip. McCreary must have a big back balance because he's willing to push on a little bit. Looks like it's done here, though. So half-time, quarter-time, Collingwood wide 2 points. They kicked 3 goals apiece in that term.
Couple of these pros are not letting this go, Howie.
This is bubbling along here. There's certainly some spot. We know what's happened over the last month between these two football clubs, and they're just not letting it go. The Auskick kids are rolling out. Tim Membry smack bang in the middle there.
Well, the Auskickers are out on the grounds, ready to start their
finally
campaign, and now the two sides separate. Jack, where do you think the game's placed?
Oh, we've been treated to an absolute perler the first half of this game. We knew it was going to be big, these two sides. Certainly no loss, and you can see that in the final little minutes there. That scurrish going on for about a minute. But look, for me, I think the way the game's being played at the moment, Adelaide happy to kick the ball, try and get it forward. Collingwood, their sleight of hand and their use of hand has been so impressive, the way they've been able to take the ball up. Adelaide have been extremely straight with the way they're using the ball. Not the side that we've seen over the home and away season, where they've shifted it from one side of the ground to the other and used their speed and used their quick ball use as well to get it into their key forwards 1v1. And the fact that they've been so straight, they've played into Collingwood's hands, and Darcy Moore is easily the best player on the ground at the moment, having a huge impact behind the ball. So that will be the challenge for Matthew Nix and his coaching side coming into this halftime break, is what they do about Darcy Moore.
Sarah, Jason, Joey and Kingy not too far away. Sarah, you camp down amongst the crowd here. What a spot at Adelaide you've got.
It is incredible. This is an absorbing contest, an entertaining game. A half of football. There's so much to unpack, Jason Dunstall. There's been momentum shifts, but the performance of Darcy Moore across halfback, an intercepting machine so far. They've got to find a way to stop him doing that, or the Crows won't win.
Yeah, there's similarities to the last time they played 3 weeks ago, except it's been flipped on its head. Lots of opportunities going forward for Adelaide this time, and it's Collingwood's back six, led by Darcy Moore, that has stood up amazingly well. I think Quain has been terrific as well, one-on-one. They've taken so many intercept marks. They've done what's needed to be done when the ball has come down there, and then they've looked dangerous when they've gone forward.
Well, it's the war of attrition we thought it would be. It's a tactical battle. We'll talk about the way that both teams are setting up, but the pressure, the intensity, no clear possessions. Everything is hard work. Everything's intense, and this is what we thought we were going to get. It's going to go down to the wire again. It's been the history of these two teams, and it's no different.
All right, let's have a look at the intercept marking of Collingwood. They have been extraordinary. The numbers are off the charts for a final. And David King, this has been an absolute hallmark of the first half.
I can't believe how well they've held up. I mean, 25 inside 50s doesn't really tell the story. They've been out and had great opportunity for positive, proactive ball inside 50, but they've been two straight line, Jace. Yeah. I think if the Crows play with a bit more dare, they really could put a gap on this game, but they've been blast happy and just happy to take territory rather than with some precision and some composure. Which is flipping on its head exactly what we saw 3 weeks ago when it was Collingwood doing that and it was Adelaide holding up. This time it's Collingwood that are just preying on these long kicks and their ability. I mean, that's just a great spoil. That was actually a kick to advantage. But most of the time, the Adelaide kick isn't to the advantage of the forward, and they're reading it so well. And this guy, Darcy Moore, he's picked off
just about everything.
I think it's the best game I've seen him play, Joey.
Darcy Moore,
Yeah.
he's been unbelievable. Unbelievable. But, I mean, it has been a combination of Adelaide kicks, but also some of the Adelaide forwards positioning. Jason, they've been playing behind, and then other times they've just beaten them one-on-one. And then, of course, we've seen Darcy Moore be freed up a lot, and that's allowed him to dictate as well.
So they've been quite predictable, Adelaide, with their ball movement. The times they have been able to switch it up, it's worked for them, Joey. They need to get a bit more creative, and whether the loss of that Isaac Rankin and the flair he brings in the forward half plays into this.
Well, they've only done this really once, maybe twice for the half, and they're able to get a goal from it. And this is going to be something, no doubt, they're going to discuss at half-time. We spoke all week about Adelaide's ability to move the ball from D50 to inside 50. He's one of the worst in the competition. That's just the reality. Only twice out of 15 occasions have they been able to get the ball from one end to the other. And this was one of the times where they did actually spread the field, open it up, and did find a mark inside 50. So they'll be discussing Darcy Moore and the intercept marks. They'll be talking about their dump kicking and straight line footy. Let's watch the second half and see if we can get that adjustment from the Crows.
That's a very low percentage, isn't it? 27% kicks retained inside forward 50 in that first quarter. They just peppered away, but there was not much purpose going forward. 50's a better return, but have a look at Collingwood. They've got an open forward line, and they've got players with the time, a lack of pressure on the ball, and they've got good users of the footy actually kicking to the advantage of their forwards.
So who blinks first in the coach's box? You're looking at Darcy Moore. Collingwood are thrilled with what he's doing as the extra behind the ball. Matty Nix has had the extra at the football, at stoppage, and they've had some good looks from stoppage. So who blinks first?
It's a great discussion because Adelaide will say, well, we've kept Collingwood to 18, 19 inside 50s up until the last minute or two. They're getting a lot of opportunities, Adelaide. They just haven't been scoring. So are they happy with the setup? That's going to be the discussions they're going to have. I think they'll make an adjustment, Adelaide, to the way Darcy Moore's impacting this game, because the worst thing for them is if they keep playing the same way and they end up getting beaten. I think they've got to make a move.
I think he's being outcoached at the moment, Matty Nix. To be fair, Darcy Moore has controlled this game for the best part of the last 45 minutes.
We're going to have a look at our Samsung highlights. Jason Dunstall, Taylor Walker playing game number 300, kicked the Crows first of the game, which was such a lifter because the Pies were on top and it was a smart piece of football and he kicked truly.
Yeah, they needed it. I mean, he'd been beaten a couple of times by Darcy Moore, and a couple of times Darcy was quicker to react and attack the footy. But that matchup hasn't been a hard and fast one. Darcy Moore likes to play deep. A couple of times he's had Frampton, he's had one or two other looks at different opponents, and that's when he's really looked like he can take the game by the scruff of the neck. So he's kicked a couple of really critical goals, but they need Phil Thorpe to get involved big time, and Fogarty has had no impact yet whatsoever.
Let's go to Mark Rasciuto and Eddie Betts at ground level. Guys, how are you seeing it unfold?
Well, we are seeing it very similar to you guys. Usually, Collingwood for the last month or so has been the 17th best side at converting from inside 50s to scoring, but tonight they've improved that. Up to 50% of scoring shots. They're just not kicking straight, Ed. If they can kick straight, Adelaide are in a little bit of trouble. Adelaide, like you guys have been talking about, not as efficient in the forward 50 for some reason. So Matthew Nix has been pretty good at changing Adelaide and the way they've been playing at quarter time and a half time, and I think they're going to have to do something different, Ed.
Yeah, they are. And like you said, Collingwood pressure has been awesome for that first half. But one thing that I wanted to talk about, when it goes inside 50, in particular with Collingwood, they got 0 inside 50 forward tackles at the moment. Last time they played, they had 32. And that's where those small forwards, Bobby Hill was missing from the side. That's where he adds value, keeping that ball inside 450. So the pressure game for them, when it goes there, they need to lock that ball in.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what the coaches do at halftime for both sides.
Yeah, a real test, particularly for Matthew Nix to work out what to do about the Collingwood skipper. Well, on Monday, catch all the fallout from week 1 of the finals with a special edition of AFL 360. The Hall of Fame legend Lee Matthews joins Gerard Whateley and Gary Lyon. Get the thoughts of the master coach and the most respected voice in football.
Hey, it's half time. The Magpies, well, they go further in front up until half time. It was 3 goals in that second term to the Adelaide Crows. The Magpies, 3 goals, 4. They're just kicking a little bit wayward. They should have had a couple of extra easy on there. Just a little bit wobbly kicking there. Inaccuracy, 5 goals, 7. Should have been a lot further in front. Magpie Madness, good feeling about this game. Yeah, I do feel a little bit better about this game than, of course, last time they met, that is for sure. They look like, tell you what, they do look the better side out there. Adelaide did look all right when they did switch the ball and do the shorter kicks. instead of just bombing it long, and they got through the Magpie defence a couple of times like that. So, as I said, the Adelaide coach will probably make a little bit of a change, a few adjustments there, but I think the way the Pies are playing at the moment, it's really good, and I think this is probably the Pies back to their best that they've been this year. Definitely a lot better than they've been the past 6-8 weeks. This is more like the front half of the season for the Pies. But certainly Rankin Macon is here. Tell you what, he's a big out there for Adelaide, and of course, if he was in there, he would have been causing a little bit more havoc, a little bit more magic for Adelaide as well. So a blessing for all sides that are playing. Adelaide at the moment without Ranky, I tell you what, a few of the players. I tell you what, Tex is going spits and spurts. He's going all right when he gets the balls. Thilthorpe was doing really, really well there for Adelaide. He's the one who's probably kept him in the game so far. But the Magpies there, of course, Sidebottom's doing good. DeGoey's having a ring-a-ding-ding game, that is for sure and certain. Of course, Jamie Elliott's having a cracking game also with all he's doing. And, of course, the Daicos brothers and a couple of the other boys doing all right there. I'll pick out their names in just a second. Hey, let's just have a little bit of a look. 5-7, 37, 5-1, 31, 6 scoring shots to 12. There we go. Santa took time off for my mental health. This is it. This is a good way to cure the mental health. And, of course, that is to see the Magpies get up tonight in a classic game. I'm sure it's going to be tight coming down to the end. Let's have a look at the goal scorers. We've got 2 multiple goal scorers out on the ground now up until half-time. And, of course, for the Adelaide Crows, Taylor Tex Walker, Mr. 300 game. He's got 2 goals straight. Riley Thilthorpe, he has 1. Lou Pedler with 1. Jordan Dawson with 1. And, of course, for the Maggies, Jamie Elliott, as I said, he's had a great start so far. Still Sidebottom single. Nick Daicos, Darcy Cameron, a great goal there. The toe poke from the big spiral down the guts, and then he just put it on the boot through the goals. Ball magnets, let's have a look. 15, Josh Well there from the Adelaide Crows leading the way. 11 and 4. That's what he's had. Ned Long, surprisingly, Ned Long is the top possession getter out there for the Magpies with 14. 6 kicks, 8 handballs. He's had a clearance. Josh Daicos doing some good work in defence there. 13 touches, 4 clearances. Jordan DeGoey, as I said, he's having a ring-a-ding-ding game. He just needs to slot on a goal or 2. And it'll be a fantastic performance by him. Just a moment, I just want to see if the commentators are still talking about the game.
Is after 18 games this year, Reece Stanley will miss out with a hamstring strain. So you think that means they've got to rejig their ruck. Mark Blitzas probably does most of the rucking.
Reece Stanley out.
Is Jai Clark, who's played 1 game since round 9.
There we go. We'll get back to them in just a moment. Scotty Penn will be up to 11. Jordan Dawson, 11. There we go. So the top 7 out of the top 9 are Collingwood players with possession getters. Nick Daicos, 11 touches, 2 clearances. A goal also, Jordan Dawson, reasonable as well. First time I logged into this account for ages, that was me earlier. Rockabilly! Hey, good on you, Rockabilly. Good to see you bringing Magpie Madness in here tonight for the Magpie game. There we go. Let's have a little bit of a look. Isaac Quaynard there. Tell you what, he's grabbed some good marks down there, some nice intercept marks there, as has Darcy Moore, 6 intercept marks. Fantastic control on the back line there. Darcy Moore, 9 disposals. Same as Quaynard. The Tex, as I said, 2 goals from his 8 disposals. 4 and 4 he's had, 5 marks. Lockie Schultz is the one who kicked that absolute barrel down the centre and got on the Cameron's boot, who got it through. So that was fantastic there. Let's roll on down. Alex Neil Bullen. There we go. I think it's his game 150th, I think it was, for this evening. He's had 8 touches there for the Crows. Let's keep on rolling down. Riley Thilthorpe, he's only had the 7 disposals. I'll tell you what, though, they've been vital disposals. What he's had, 6 kicks, a handball, 3 marks, 3 clearances, kicked a goal. So doing really, really well there for the Crows. I think that to pull Thilthorpe up the ground a little bit because it's not sort of quite working there. Riley O'Brien, the big man for Adelaide, he's had 6 touches, 23 hit-outs, 2 clearances. Darcy Cameron doing a little bit of work in the ruck, of course, with Cox, 7 touches, 11 hit-outs. We'll get down, we'll have a look at see what Mason's up to. There we go, Bo McCreary. He's still waiting for him to have a huge impact on the game. He's still to come alive. Darcy Fogarty with the 6 also. Will Parker just on the form. Tim Membry yet to trouble the scoreboard, just the 4 touches, 2 and 2. There we go, Mason Cox down there. Just the 2 touches, 1 kick, 1 handball. Gave away a 50, which resulted in a goal to the Adelaide Crows. But just the same, he's been good in the contested marks. He's bringing the ball to ground, which is exactly what needed to him. Just have a look at the team stats now. As long as we get just over the line, I know, spot on. Need to get this job done. And that'll be fantastic. Be fantastic if we can get this job done. I'm thinking, Addy G was saying, whoever I think loses this game will play the winner of GWS and Hawthorn. I think that's what he was saying. I couldn't 100% remember the crossover of games, but it'd be nice to actually see the Magpies win this one. You don't have to worry about that. There we go. It's 37 plus disposals to the Maggies. It's only 7 kicks. They're getting the hand connection up pretty well there, the Magpies there. They're plus 30 there. Inside 50s. 25-24, 6 scoring shots Adelaide going in, only 28% efficiency inside their forward 50. The Magpies, however, 24 inside 50s, 12 scoring shots, 54% efficiency inside forward 50. Of course, 62 and 65, a little bit low for both teams. Disposal efficiency around the ground. Umpires, I tell you what, they're letting the game go a little bit, and we're going to love that. This is finals, folks. This is finals. I tell you what, this is, talk about pressure. There's some good pressure on there. Magpies certainly blowing the pressure gauge off the charts at the moment. They just probably need to lift their game a little bit in the forward tackles right there. But that's another story. We'll get down to that in a little bit. Just looking at the hit-outs there, Adelaide Crows doing a bit better there in that department. 25-17, they're plus 8. They're doing all right there. Adelaide clearances, well, it's all tied up. 19 apiece. Adelaide Crows, they've got the extra clearance out of the centre. The Magpies around the stoppage clearances, they're plus 1 right there. Looking at contested possessions, saying it's a reasonably good contested game. Addy G, tip Adelaide by 1 point to lose. Yeah, I'll tell you what that'll do. I'll tip Adelaide to lose by 1 point any day of the week. There we go, 68-72, plus 4 in the contested possessions. Nice contested game. Uncontested, the Pies controlling the ball a little bit more. 35 plus. Turnovers, there we go. Not too bad from the Pies, 34. A little bit high there from Adelaide, 42. As I said, putting the pressure gauge was starting to smoke there for the Pies. It was that hot. And of course, looking at the marks, they're plus 15. Marks inside 50. There we go. The ball's dropped into the Texas arms a couple of times there, inside 50 for the Crows. They're 4 inside 50 marks. Collingwood 7 contested. It's hard to take that contested mark. 3-5. Just looking at the tackle count now. That's a lot better tackle count from both of these sides. Adelaide a little bit low still at 27. They want to be up around where the Maggies are at 36. 36 is a good number so far up until half-time. Tackle count inside 50. Pretty low for both sides. 3-0. Collingwood still yet to take a tackle inside their forward 50. All right, let's get back here. Looking back on the set shots, I think Adelaide from set shots, they're 4 straight goals. Collingwood 3 goals, 2 from their set shots. So it's made a little bit of a difference. As I was saying, Brady Mychek missed a couple that he should have got, which should have been 7 goals, 5 instead of 5 goals, 7. But there we go. There we go. But that is the scoreline. I tell you what, we're always in for a ring-a-ding-ding game here, folks, between these two sides. Of course, I think Collingwood's won 10 of the last 11 games against Adelaide, but of course, finals is all different. Hey, folks, don't forget, finals coming up over this weekend, Friday night and Saturday. We've got tomorrow night, a 7:40 p.m. kickoff, bounce at 7:40, that's Geelong taking on the Brisbane Lions there. I think that's at Cardinia Park. Or, no, that's at the MCG, I think. MCG. Geelong will take on the Brisbane Lions. I tell you what, I think people have got the Cats going in this game as favourite. I think the soft run home into the finals for Geelong could cause them trouble going in against the Brisbane Lions, who have had a pretty tough road home, which is going to stand them in good stead. I'm tipping Brisbane in that game. Of course, Saturday, 3:15 p.m, the next game of the elimination finals. We've got the GWS Giants up at there. I think that's at Engie Stadium. taking on Hawthorn. Tell you what, this is going to be an interesting game. I tell you what, both these sides, well, they've got their pluses and minuses. The Giants can go all right. The Hawks can go all right. I tell you what, the Giants have got to get on top of the Hawks early and shut them out of the game, or the Hawks, with their speed, can get back into the game. I'm tipping the Giants will have a few good ins coming in for this game, so it should be really, really interesting. That game, I'm not too sure who's going to win this game. You know what? I'd probably like the Giants to actually win that game. Tip Hawthorn out of the finals. I know being a Victorian side, we like the Hawks, but no, we don't want the Hawks, because the Hawks can actually sometimes trouble the Maggies. And of course, the Dockers and the Suns, 7:35 is the bounce on Saturday night. Tell you what, that's going to be a cracking game, but you would expect Freo get up and over the line. All right, that's enough of me chit-chatting. Hey, let's get back down to the action, where it's the Magpies by 6 points. Can they extend? Tell you what, we're in for a ring-a-ding second half. Let's head back to the action.
It was 2 at quarter time. Collingwood held the lead, 6 at half time. And we're back underway after the main break. Degoe with the first touch. Handballs at forward only as far as Saligo, who's grabbed by Nick Daicos. They pile in and holding the ball. Saligo worse for wear as well. So Daicos's kick to crisp was just outside the arc. What about the vision there?
He can kick this. He can kick this sneaky long with his left leg. If he can just pinch it a metre or two to the left of the man on the mark, this is in range. Be a huge start for the Pies.
One of their favourite sons kicks to the top of the square. Cox flew just a little bit too early, then tried to throw his laces at it. Degoe's there. Elliott, he's taken to ground. And a ball up.
That kick to Cox was absolutely perfect. He just couldn't quite nail it.
Mark Rashudo and Eddie Betts on the boundary alongside Jack Rewalt, Matt Hill and David King. Thursday night finals on Fox. Schultz, hurried snap forward to a dangerous area. Cox called to play on. Murray pushes him off it. Nick Daicos has got him.
It's gone.
He's got him.
He's going to pay it too.
It was a good tackle. Just left that arm free.
Like a bull sort of matador person. So he grabbed his arm on the way through.
O'Brien hit that with his head. Side bottom directly in front. It's not the best looking kick, but it doesn't matter. Any goal's a good goal. He's kicked 2.
Well, we talk about it all the time. Forward 50 stoppage goals separate big finals. And that there is a huge moment. Side bottom, all alone, left all alone. Cardinal sin. Keys was the man who had to roll up, he had to cover, and he didn't. He stayed back there, you can see him right of screen, he's thinking, oh no. His heart sinks, the steel thumps it on the left. Great start for the Pies.
Still having a discussion down deep. Myercheck and Keane, former teammates. It's a perfect start for the Pies to kick the opening goal of all 3 terms now. Cameron battling away with 2 Crows. Ned Long, big frame, runs away, looks for the long kick forward to that contest. Myercheck, Elliott's in front position. The Pies pressing. Elliott puts his head over the footy. Keane and Myercheck. There's a bit of aggro between those 2 off the footy. Keane needs to be careful not to infringe deep. And he's still at it, those 2.
Yeah, it was a good fight by young Bond there. Actually got stepped.
Yeah.
and nearly took the mark, Jamie Elliott again.
It's good by Myercheck. See if he can draw a free kick.
Schultz throws the boot at it, goes laterally. Curtin's the first there. Then he throws Laird under the bus, back to Worrell. Bond looking for Curtin. Miller is there hovering. Houston affects the tackle. Miller up. Fresh air shot. Oh, it's finals footy on a Thursday night. Came out to long by hand to Degoe with some space round the corner. Degoe has put it through, and it's the biggest buffer for the Pies tonight.
Well, he's had the short run into finals, Jordan DeGoey. But you think of that second quarter, the impact that he's had. He's the second Collingwood player of all time to have 10 disposals, 4 clearances in a quarter, and here he just keeps rolling on in the third quarter. Here he gets going.
The cream is rising. Side bottom throws the first. DeGoey follows it up. That's absolute class on the left. They're away to an 18-point lead. What have you got, Adelaide?
Ned Long's been fantastic at the start of this third quarter as well. He's the one that's driven out of stoppage, created the 1v none out of the contest. And the pressure here from the Pies, you can see on screen, is absolutely immense. Throwing themselves to the tackle. There's the handball from Ned Long. He's the one that creates the space for DeGoey.
Kick the last 4, the Pies. That right towards their supporters who are just encamped down there, surrounded by Crows. But up is Collingwood out to a game-high 18-point margin. Last 2 of the second, first 2 of the third. It's a delay out the middle. Just checking, it hasn't hit the post.
This is score review. Score confirmed.
We spoke about Collingwood's pressure inside forward 50. They had 0 in the first half and they had 4 in the space of 3 minutes to kick 2 goals.
Eddie Betts down there alongside Mark Shudo. It's called a goal. So on we go. 18-point margin. Collingwood pressing. Now it's up for the Crows, the top of the table team, to respond. Saligo's done holding the ball, and again it's Long.
So Long through the middle. Long, high rake at a Cox. Not quite. Side bottom. Snapped around the corner. He's a big-time player in a big moment. He's kicked his thirds.
Smacked the clearance in this term. That's 5 in a row. They're away, the Pies. Full of beans, full of confidence. They can't intercept Mark. That's the one gap in the game right now. The Crows' defence. They can't do what they've done all year. They can't get their hands.
That's what we're talking about.
You can see here. Keane has to stay diligent to Myercheck. Cox goes with that aggressive positioning on Murray. It's always going to fall forward and side bottom. He's there again.
You ask the question, why has Mason Cox been brought into this side by Craig McRae? That is simply all he needs to do as a forward when he's down there. Pinch hit in the ruck, but you are the big 208-centimetre, big, tall American. Bring the ball to ground level and let Steele side to bottom. Let Jordan DeGoey do their work.
Collingwood has kicked the ball 10 times for the term. They've kicked 3 goals from those 10 kicks, 15 disposals. They've jumped Adelaide out of the box. Moore continues his good work alongside Walker. Now it is time for the Crows to respond. They bring the heat with the tackle. Collingwood need to give it back, or it'll be 50 the other way.
Right, stuck here. Come back on.
10 disposals for 3 goals. 10 kicks, incredible.
So Neil Bullen probes it towards the pockets. O'Brien, has he been able to cluck it? He has. He's going to play on quickly. He gives it to Keys. And across the face. So they're a little bit shell-shocked at the moment, the Crows.
Gee, he's been quiet, Ben Keys. That's his 3rd disposal for the game.
I reckon he's been trying to go to Josh Daicos a bit. Josh hasn't had heaps of it either, but definitely Keys needs to get his hands on the ball more.
Cox marks well. What a player side bottom is. The first time he's kicked 3 in a game this year, and it's in the qualifying final. To go, he just waited, stood up in the tackle. Daicos fashions it to Quaynor.
It's that little kick inside that opens the whole ground up. Nick Daicos so smart that he knows that he needs to find a mark. He'll probably get it back here.
Now he'll go, Nick Daicos. Another disguised kick inside, but Peatling was in the right position, and Adelaide are under the pump.
This is the switch we were talking about. They need to use the other side of the ground. They've got the numbers.
So Laird and to Bond out to Worrell. Hesitant. Taylor.
This is where the experience of the Pies is kicking in. Just have a look at their grid. They know exactly what the responsibility for each player is. No communication required.
Taylor bunts it in the curtain direction. Neil Bullen at the back. runs hard, kicks it inside 50. Thilthorpe wrestling with Maynard. Off hands, they've done well to Frampton. He spears it, but it's going to come back as Curtin has it, the young star.
Plays on immediately, goes to the interior.
2 metres back. Outside 5. Play on.
Hinge. They need some flow, the Crows. Long ball towards Walker. Gets off Craner. Moore was too late. And Taylor Walker, who's kicked 2 in his 300th. By gee, do his team need a third from him now.
Yeah, a mismatch here was Quaynor who got stuck on Walker. We saw Maynard on Thilthorpe just before that in the first re-entry, but the ball shifts. As soon as it shifts off the line, it changes the look forward of the ball. Big kick here for the Texan in game 300.
A beautiful kick of the football over 300 games. How his team needs him to be accurate here. Walker drifts across the face.
So Josh Daicos, it's 150, of course. His famous father played 250. Spreads it to Maynard. Exits D50 with a high ball. Gives Membry some work to do here. Deflecting ball to Peatling, who just a little kick and hope it's going to be good enough. Taylor. So the Crows pressing again here.
Can't go quickly, got loose men, the Pies.
So the kick is going to be up the spine. Thilthorpe's there. Punched away from Dawson. O'Brien lopes after it. McCreary's the faster man. And then off hands to Maynard.
Clever ball. Collingwood controlling the term of the game now. They're out to 22 points.
Yeah, they're very comfortable with how it looks. They've kicked 5 goals in succession. 5 goals in their last 13 entries. On fire forward of the ball.
Crisp with a Collingwood point down the line to Goey. He's getting better as he gets more games under his belt.
Sort of faked that there. Chris looked like he was going to kick it inside, but knew that he had the matchup there with DeGoey versus Laird. DeGoey's always going to win that one in the air.
Side bottom back on the ground. 12 possessions, 3 goals. Here comes Elliott from behind. The big fly came. Keys hasn't been a factor. Peatling jams onto the boot. Only as far as Frampton in front of Walker. Plays on this Billy. He's got a man out wide in Schultz who can kick from tight angles. Immediately lays it off to the little champ. Here's a kick and a half for Nick Daicos.
Monty Schultz just sitting in the forward pocket all by himself there in 40 metres of space. Frampton just needed to get it to him and then the square up. Why not kick it to Nick Daicos? He's the best kick at the club. Big moment here just after Tex Walker's missed one that you'd think he'd kick from out in front.
He's kicked one alongside his 15 disposals, 5 tackles, 4 inside 50s. Couple of score involvements. Sets himself in front of a hostile crowd, but kicking to a pocket of Collingwood supporters. Slides out to the right. Nick Daicos misses, so Walker one end, Daicos the other.
Score review. Umpire scores are behind. Please check the ball across the line.
Review underway. Review complete. Looking at this angle, you can see the ball's crossed the back of the behind line before being marked. Decision on the scoreboard.
Well, he really had one look at it.
That's all you needed.
So we talk about finals football. Both teams yet to score from their D50. So 25 chances to Collingwood, 18 chances to the Crows. No one scored. That's the pressure of all things, both system, execution, and just pressure.
And to be fair, Kingy, they both haven't been good at it all year, have they, really? That's probably their weak spots.
That's true.
So Curtin. So the humanity on the wing. Frampton, not quite. To ground. Houston, front and square. Quaynor trying to rove. Keys pummels it out to Berry. Berry's low ball towards Thilthorpe. Moore did well on that occasion. Maynard under the pump. Scraped the kick to Lipinski. Then Quaynor off half back. And then the kick towards McCreary. And he's in space. And he can run. He's quicker than a Stall gift winner. Kicks it towards the pocket. Over the head of Worrell it goes. Schultz couldn't mark it. Curtin under pressure. Handball. That's good enough. And they can clear through Bond.
Opportunity missed for the Pies. They might get another crack at it here. It's into the path of Daicos. Falls to ground. He under pressure. Steaming out, providing a tackle. Nick Daicos somehow It's magical the way he wedged that to Jamie Elliott. The replays won't do it justice. Elliott will line up, and the sore Schultz gets to his feet.
What about the tackle from Lachie Schultz? You can see the quick hands. They are just cleaner at the moment, Collingwood. But here's Schultz. He's the one that puts the pressure on Daicos. How many players can do that? Pick it up, half a step, lateral to your left, and kick it to a man on the lead. Fantastic by the little champ.
Looking for a third, Jamie Elliott. Crowd hushed here in Adelaide. The number 5, Jamie Elliott. 6 in a row for the Pies. They're out to a game-high margin of 29 points. And it is all to be done for the top-of-the-table Crows.
Pressure. And they've brought it, Collingwood. They brought it in the first half. They've actually amped it up in this second half.
Just the gap in the game. There's moments like this. The little man, number 35, where the Crows blast this ball. He used his vision and all of his skill to create an opportunity that's really not there. 90% of players just blast that to the top of the goal square and hope for the best. But not Nick. He says, this is my time. I need to find a spare man, and he does. What a marvel.
Great tackle there from Lachie Schultz. He's the one that creates that forward turnover. And this man here, well, he's one of the best kicks in the competition. Straight again, Jamie Elliott.
Phil Thorpe in the ruck. Berry overruns it. Tough in the clinches, Pendlebury. Nick Daicos. McCreary's ball over the top. Lipinski runs onto it. And then he goes short towards Elliott, who was caught at the back. He might get a second chance. Sockers it to Lipinski, who puts it through, I reckon. Was it touched on the line? No! Adelaide are in trouble. Collingwood are in full cry.
This is powerful. My God, this is powerful. They can't get their hands on the ball, the Crows, and when they do, they just get mauled. They just come from everywhere to give them a pressure they can't handle. Look, the swarm. And then they're out the front and gone. Proactive on the move. Lipinski tries for the perfect kick, doesn't work. But watch Elliott. Just get a boot on that. And they stay proactive, they stay aggressive. The coach said we're going to take risks. And boy, have they taken them tonight. What a game.
6-1 the clearances Collingwood's way this quarter. 4-1 out of the centre. They're dominating in the hard stuff around the contest.
5 goals in no time this term. 7 in a row unanswered for Collingwood. And the Adelaide ship is listing badly. Keys has a run in the middle. They can't give up another clearance. Berry, McCreary, Berry, hands and knees. Keys, they just try and shove it forward any way they can. Walker really clean. Hand pass to Keys, an opportunity much needed for the Crows. Long ball forward from Taylor. Oh, really well done. Pedler will roll in, and finally Adelaide answer. It's a long climb back. 2 for Pedler.
They needed it.
Well, they get through on that occasion because the Collingwood back 6 are so set. The ball fortuitously falls for Walker, who can come forward. Look at that. They've got a good grid behind the ball, but it falls perfectly for Walker, who steps through, and they get their handball game going. Still had some work to do. They've been terrific with their positioning all night, the Pies back 6, and they just get done by good Crows ball movement on that occasion.
Two goals for Luke Pedler tonight, 2 for Tex Walker. And Riley Philthorpe and Jordan Dawson, the other goal kickers for the Crows. Cameron catches it, then tried to flick it behind him, tried to manufacture something pretty clever. De Goey gets it out to Pendlebury. Pendlebury to Lipinski. We've seen this movie before from 45 metres out. And to the right.
They are just so clean around the ground at the moment. Creating opportunities through the fact that they are just not fumbling the ball. Their handballs are hitting every target.
Dominating out of the centre square, and real concerns for Nix and his coaching team. Collingwood by 2 at quarter time, 6 at half time. And that was a 30-point margin. In just half a quarter of football. Who can stand up now for the Crows? Neil Bullen, Taylor. Over the footy, only as far as Parker. Back to the calm Pendlebury. Looks for DeGoey. Just strips it away from Miller. It was a contest and he won it. Out to Cameron. Frampton's had a good night.
We'll yet to have a disposal in the third term. Dawson, Thilthorpe, Soligo. This is where you need your top liners to step up.
Frampton, Myercheck works his way to the back of the contest, gets his boot to it, and hits the post.
It looked lively just on the ground ball inside forward 50 as well. Outnumbered there, Brody Myercheck, but just worked his man under the ball, gets back onto it, has another shot on goal. This is more pressure compounding on the Crows.
Well, they're going to have to take some risks. The Crows are going to have to try the corridor. Got to get back into this game.
Hinge just goes centrally towards Walker. It's perfectly positioned. Brought down in the contest.
They've had more than double the scoring shots here. Collingwood's 20-9.
Walker forced to kick long. Fogarty has not been a factor. Moore has. Massive fist into the middle of the oval. Walker picks it up, shrugs one tackle. Slick hands. Down to the path of Curtin.
Curtin too far out to score. Offloads to Dawson, who just chips towards the pocket. Moore fists with interest, and he actually catches it in the end. So it paid back.
That's the sort of night he's having. And I just wonder if Matthew Nicks is starting to think about his sub, Brodie Smith, to create some run.
Yeah, I like that one, Jack. He's got good ball movement. He's got a long kick. That might be the call they have to make sooner rather than later.
Cox has taken the mark on the outside.
Does he have to pull the trigger on one of his key forwards? You'd think it'd be Fogarty if he was going to sub someone out.
Josh Daicos to Membry. Collingwood build again. Entry inside the arc. DeGoey, not quite. Falls to Long. Just bunts it onto the boot towards the top of the square. Myercheck pats it to himself. And then the hurry kick only to Crisp. In a kickable range.
Be going back to his third or fourth shot tonight. Brodie Myercheck just kept it to the front there, and you can see that's the pressure. Mark Keane just hacks it off the ground. Collingwood set up well. Jack Crisp in the right spot, now gets a shot on goal.
So Crisp hasn't kicked a goal yet. He's just going to glance, starting towards the right, momentarily still in play.
Gee, they could have put him away, Collingwood. Have a look at the scores. It's 21 shots to 9. They just haven't been efficient in front of goal, luckily for Adelaide.
Still a 32-point margin.
Haven't seen their back six humbled like this for a while. 12 inside 50s to the Pies for 9 scores.
O'Brien collapses the pack. Again, it's Collingwood at ground level. Frampton's handball misses a target. Soligo will get one high. Can they launch off half-back? The Crows driving forward towards Walker.
Walker marks. Thought about handing it off. Then he decides to go himself.
Just little things there. Ben Keys free in the pocket. A little 15-metre kick. Easy mark for a left footer.
Getting some moments though, Tex. Getting some moments.
As you guys said, when you get it so far down, 5 goals down and nothing's going right, it's time to take the risks, and Adelaide look like they're already starting to do that.
Neil Bullen hooks it inside 50. Quain has been good all night. Long just releases it in time. Maynard tries to keep it in front of himself. Cameron back to Maynard. Crisp was out, the ball was in. Cleverly worked. He looks back inboard. They're building nicely through to Goey. Forward hand pass again to Long. Needs to release to Quainer. He didn't really take possession, but moved it forward, coming the other way of the Crows.
Keys managed to get it to Soligo and then to Fogarty. Fogarty knowing the urgency. He's going short towards the pocket. Pedler.
That was a good lead. He led for 50 metres, a big arcing lead from the top of the square. Only had a metre or two. It was a perfect pass in the end, but what a solid lead that was. Look at him all the way around there, Pebler. Fantastic.
Only option he had to go was 1v3.
He's had a career interrupted by injuries, a shoulder recon in 2020, injury last year as well. He's kicked 2 tonight so far. This is his moment! And he takes the opportunity to draw a goal back for the Crows.
You come into a big final, you've got Walker, you've got Thilthorpe, you've got Fogarty. But it's this man here who's been fantastic ahead of the ball. And the turnover came. Finally, just that little mark, little bit of composure. And Fogarty, who hasn't had much of the ball tonight, he just waited and waited and waited. And that big, long, arcing lead, as you said, Kingy, had finally eventuated. And the finishing here, we've seen more senior players missing this quarter for Adelaide. This young man has just gone back and knocked his third home for the night.
Problem is, it goes back to the middle. And the Pies have won 6 of the last 7 centre-bounce clearances.
Jackie called it. Brodie Smith is on. He has been subbed in the game. Looks like Mitch Hinge may well be the player that's been subbed out.
Still the unused sub so far for the Pies. Again, it's going to be a centre clearance. They've dominated in that area this term to Elliott, who's got 3. Happy to take a bit of time. There is Hinge with the jumper on. Squeezing ball. A bit too much on it. Used to cop one in the back, but the umpire will toss it back in.
Well, 9-1, the clearances in this term. They just need a lift around the ball. They need their captain to stand up.
Less than 4 to play in the third term. Ruckman wrestle each other out of it. Nick Daicos can't quite control it. Curtin with an up and under. No Mark Peatley. Parker tried to go off the ground. Grabbed by Berry. Has a bounce in a tight spot. Then retreats back to Dawson. And he was gone for throwing at Berry.
How good from Braden Maynard. He was the one that needed to commit 2v1. Got the turnover, and now he's setting them up here offensively.
To go, he takes a bit of time. Team a 6-point half-time margin to a 25-point lead. Pointing is Parker. Slices it inside 50. Well positioned. Memory does well to bring it to ground. Crisp.
That's the difference. Just get the ball to ground, you get another opportunity. 22 intercept marks to Collingwood, just the 7 for the Crows. They haven't been able to do it as they have in their defensive 50 all season long.
Fell asleep at the last forward 50 stop. He's got to make sure they're one-on-one here.
Worrell. Handball and hope towards Fogarty. Maynard. Thilthorpe tried to use his body. Frampton goes in. Good contest. Thilthorpe came up with it. And then the little chip's good enough from Keys as Josh Daicos rides it into the ground and gets 50.
Almost taken within range. Keys. I think his 130th consecutive game. And here's a moment for Ben Keys. Wanted to give it to the skipper. They've kicked the last 2. Can Ben Keys bring it back to 19 points? Big kick this in the context of the night. Not the longest of kicks. It's going to take his best. Slides out to the right. Keys sends it. Not the required distance. The tall Timber's there. Running into trouble is Perham, and he ran into a crow brick wall.
He didn't tackle him.
Just ran into him.
He bumped him. He didn't tackle him, he bumped him. If he tackles him, it's a free kick in the goal square. What an error.
So it goes the other way to Claynor.
Big moment, that. You have to nail that tackle.
Why didn't he tackle him?
He sort of ran into him.
He chested him.
He's a ruckman, Kingy.
I was waiting for it, Rose.
He could have been a shot from the square to take it to a 19-point margin.
Claynor. Kick towards Cox. He's claiming he marked it, but he didn't really have it.
Look at this. He's got him.
Little chip towards Peatling's good enough.
He's got to be on high alert here for Jordan Dawson. He's ducked around the back.
Kick towards the top of the square.
Coming back.
He's going to come back. This man who's played nearly every game for Adelaide this year. Former Giant, of course.
He's got options here in the corridor of his quick.
So the drive-by to Murray. Long bomb from about 58. Marked right on the line by Cameron.
Yeah, and in the end, it's a really dumb kick because you get the opportunity to defend it, rush point or intercept mark. The ruckman's always going to be there.
Inside the field. Score review.
And as you say, your Ted Hayter long bombs for a point. They haven't even scored.
No, they're coach killers, long points.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball's controlled before crossing the back of the goal line. Decision on the scoreboard.
And I think this is testament to Collingwood's back six. They're being forced into taking long bomb shots from outside 50 because they can't find an option inside 30.
Crows are pressing. Kick the last two. Pendlebury continues to get it done. Possession 15. Cox has certainly proved the target in the air. He's been a long down the line kick and he's brought it to ground time and time again. So here's the tackle, Jack, we were talking about.
This is it. He just went in and it was sort of like it was a shoulder charge nearly, and just could have grabbed him and wrapped him up. It would have been holding the ball every day of the week.
Cameron on hands and knees tries to paddle it forward. Laird went in. Crisp went in. Long grab by Neil Bullen, ferocious and over.
So you think Collingwood would look to shut this down with only a minute to go into this third quarter? They've done a lot of good work here.
Getting Willing out in the middle. 25-point margin to the Pies. It'll be a long way home for the Crows. They've got the crowd support. Can they kick another one to bring it under 20 before the break? Phil Thorpe. The big hands of Riley.
Here it is.
Now can his boot do the job?
Well, I've been crying out for this man all night to get involved. That's his fourth mark for the evening. Most of them been high up the field. This is where they need him. And as silly as it sounds, they only need to light up for the next 30 minutes and it can be the difference.
Just announced in the All-Australian side at full forward. Phil Thorpe with one of his biggest kicks of the season from about 48 metres out. Phil Thorpe hits it perfectly, pumps the crowd up. They've kicked the last three when they look down and out. The Crows, and they bring it back to a somewhat manageable 19 points. Riley's got two.
Well, that was a huge moment. And you see, it's been Darcy Moore who's been free all night. It's Dan Houston on this occasion here. And he's the one that can't get there. And finally, Riley gets a one-on-one. Houston goes in. He's not an aerial player. He's looking to clean up behind the contest there. And Riley Philthorpe finally gets a mark. And this is a man that stood up the last time these two teams played. In the last quarter especially, took 3 contested marks. It was fantastic. Maybe he's got a big one in front of him.
You have to question why Darcy Moore's been on the bench for 10 minutes.
O'Brien wins it down. Nick Daicos getting involved. Pinballs around. Perryman could have got a high one. Tunnel ball. Curtin, Laird, Smith. Round the body he goes. Can it sit up for Neil Bullen? Quayner's there. Frampton dispossessed. Came out to Saligo. Little fend off. He kicks on the siren. It's going to be too late. So Adelaide coming back in the last 2 or 3 minutes, but after it was 6 points at half-time, Collingwood now lead by 19 at three-quarter time.
No injury concerns for the skipper. He's charging out in the middle after that spell on the bench. So it was Collingwood by 6. They kicked 7 in a row, 2 before half-time, 5 to open the third term before Collingwood answered. And then Adelaide answered with the last 3. So it's a 19-point margin at three-quarter time. All to be done for the home side. We finish tonight. We already set our attention to tomorrow night, the MCG. The reigning premiers take on Bailey Smith and the Red Hot Cats. You will see it all here on your home of finals footy. That'll be Fox Footy.
Well, three-quarter time here. Magpie Madness in the house. Tell you what, 10-11-71 to Magpies. Adelaide 8-4-52. So Magpies by 19 points. Adelaide putting on 3 goals, 3 in that third term. The Maggies putting on 5 goals, 4. I tell you what, are we in for a ring-a-ding final quarter? Hey, this game isn't over yet by any stretch of the imagination. Even though us Magpie supporters would love the siren to be gone now and that'd be full time, but we've still got a quarter to go. We can't write off Adelaide just yet. Look, we've got to be fair. We've got to give them a chance. I think one thing, I tell you what, they've got to shut Riley Thilthorpe. Make sure they shut him down in this final term, because when he gets on song, he might be, gets them going. Crows is still the match. I tell you what, anything could happen. And I tell you what, it's going to be important whoever kicks the first couple of goals in this final quarter. Momentum. That is exactly right. Momentum. Who's going to have it? Tell you what, they've done well, the Adelaide Crows, and the Magpies looked like they were starting to really run away with it. And they got to about 35 points or so in front, but they've clawed their way back to 19 points coming into the final term. Tell you what, this is going to be a cracking final term. The crowds are light. Tell you what, there's going to be big pressure on this final quarter. Let me tell you that. This is going to be a ring-a-ding-ding. Crows out of juice in last. I tell you what, we can only hope. That being said, good luck to the Adelaide Crows supporters out there. Good luck to the Magpies supporters out there. This is why we love our footy, because it's the best game in the world. Hey, let's just have a quick glance at the goal scorers at the moment. Still side bottom, the old boy, he tops the table for the Magpies with Jamie Elliott with 3 goals apiece. Lipinski, DeGoey, Daicos, Cameron singles. And of course, for Adelaide Crows, Luke Pedler. Well, there we go, he's bobbed up with 3 goals. Tex Walker, Thilthorpe, couple each for those fellas. Jordan Dawson, a little bit quiet in that third term. He's got a single. Let's have a look at the disposal getters. Josh Worrell continues to lead the way there for Adelaide, 23. 16 kicks, 7 handballs, 4 marks, a couple clearances. Ned Long, Jordan DeGoey, both the best for the Magpies on 21. DeGoey having an absolute ring-a-ding-ding game here. 10 touches, 10 kicks, 11 handballs, 6 clearances. Ned Long, 21, 9 and 12. 4 clearances, 8 tackles. So the boys are doing well. Daicos brothers next best, 18 and 17. Let's see if they can unleash a little bit of magic in the final term. There we go. Let's just roll down and you can have a little bit of a look. Roy Laird on 16 with Daniel Curtin. Pendlebury and Crisp on 15. Tex Walker, he's up to 13. 2 goals, 2 from the Tex. There we go. Isaac Quain at 13. Lipinski 13. I'd like to see him do a little bit in this final term, which would be pretty groovy. There we go. Groovy. We haven't heard that word for a while. Riley Thilthorpe, just 9 touches, 8 kicks. He's had 4 marks, 3 clearances, 2 goals for him. So he's not too bad. Mind you, folks, don't forget, in those final 6 or so minutes or so, Darcy Moore's off the ground. That's probably let Adelaide back in to the match a little bit, but he'll be back on the ground. I'll tell you what, it's going to be mighty hard. He'll be there. Pies next 3 goals. Let's hope they get the first 2 or 3 goals of this opening quarter. We're not going to shut the fridge door on this game just yet. 19 points isn't much, especially when a team gets on a roll. We know what AFL footy's like, I tell you what. Whew, momentum is a real thing. All right, let's head back down to the ground for the final quarter, where the commentators just feeling reeling off their last little bit of a spiel. We'll shut down the game real soon. I tell you what, let's hope they kick the first 2 or 3. If you go into shutdown mode too early, that can certainly be the detriment of the team. I think sometimes if you don't want to keep playing your brand of footy. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a fantastic final quarter, no matter what happens. Both these sides out there giving it a fair dinkum crack out there tonight. Both teams playing great. That's why they finished 1st and 4th on top of the ladder. I'll tell you what, we could be well seeing the flag favourite after this game, whoever wins this game. All right, let's head back down to the ground for the final quarter. Let's head back down to the action, where it's the Magpies by 19 points.
Side forward 50 in that first half, came out in that third quarter, added 5, and ended up kicking 3 goals from that.
Well, they look like they had a match-winning lead. Can Adelaide, they'll play attacking footy here. Can they come from behind, take the game on and kick a winning score in the last quarter?
Well, the fascination for me was Darcy Moore spending the last 11 and a half minutes on the bench. Now, I know he needs a break at some stage. He played 100% of the first half, but gee, it was a critical 11 minutes. They kicked 2 goals, 1, and they're within a sniff. 19 points, anything can happen.
We saw Riley Thilthorpe have a little impact in the last bit of that third quarter there. He was the best player on the ground in the last quarter last time these two teams met, with 6 disposals, 2 contested marks and a goal set up. On the big occasion, can Riley rise to it?
Collingwood by 2 at quarter time, 6 at half time, 19 at 3/4 time. Crows needing to make an immediate impact in the last term. It's been a big night for that man Moore. The final term on Fox Footy, Thursday night qualifying final. Led Saligo out of the middle, first clearance for the Crows inside 50. Punched away by Frampton. Rolling football towards the boundary and out.
A positive for the Crows. They win a centre bounce clearance. It's the area that Collingwood were able to get on top of them in that third quarter. They need to get to work around stoppage.
And Rory Laird has been in the centre square. He started in the centre square. He has not played in the centre square all year, but they're lacking midfielders and they needed something different.
Roan Steele, the unused sub, mid-season pick, will be injected at some stage, you would imagine.
Well, the fans were asking, can they win it without Isaac Rankin? Yet to score from forward 50 stoppages, the Crows. They averaged 15 points post-bye when he played forward.
Taylor's trying to get free, tries to come through now, just didn't get a handle on it. Laird sees a little gap. Saligo, squeezing ball, Tex held and hung. Darcy Moore had him covered, back to Thilthorpe. Walker, the two combined, finds a little gap, only as far as Parker. Important exit ball.
To Schultz. It wasn't a pretty kick, but it got there and wrapped up.
Just needed to be there, Lockie Schultz, and he was. I know it's not a clean possession, but it's a chance to get it out of your own D50.
Cameron, Saligo couldn't control it. Came out to Keys. Nick Daicos grabbed him. Keys hurried kick away. Walker gathered. Inboard looking for Thilthorpe. Keys still fighting for it. Bobbles out of his hands. Pendlebury, Lipinski on the ground. DeGoey flicked it out. Parker. Then to Nick Daicos. Collingwood just can't quite get away from them at the moment. Nick Daicos grabbed. Laird helped out. Bouncing ball towards Thilthorpe. Couldn't trap it, maybe off the boot. And then it was Houston who just lashed it off the ground. And Elliott had a fair bit of it. Gee, it's a hot football at the moment. Came out. Chad Filipinski. He picks it up. Over the top he goes. Grabbed by Membry. Kick inside 50. It's a wide ball. It's a bouncing ball. Elliott trying to worry Keane out of it. Keane held his composure and found Curtin.
Yeah, fantastic by Mark Keane there.
Perfect to Dawson. So the Crows building, defensive half of the wing. He looks inboard. Nothing there for the skipper. Elects to drop it long towards the big units. O'Brien gets it to Saligo. He was looking for Neil Bull and there was a pie in the way. Now a chance for Collingwood to go. Nick Daicos just tumbles the ball forward. In best position with the Crow defenders. Keane, Bond get a free and they'll take the advantage.
Bond, low ball, Thilthorpe able to gather almost on the half volley. Through the middle, Taylor. Wasn't the required trip, uses Thilthorpe. The kick had to be accurate, straight down the throat of Neil Bullen. Crowd say get on with it.
This is what Thilthorpe can do, is when he goes up the ground, whether it's in the ruck or he actually plays high as a key forward, he gets involved. 2 possessions in this play, and he's the one that's delivered it to Neil Bullen.
Whether they can make the most of these moments is what's going to decide whether they can come from behind.
So Alex Neil Bullen for 200 bands, the top of the square. Terryman had it for a while, and then Saligo trying to make something out of nothing, goes through for a behind.
Well, if Neil Bullen couldn't make the distance, he had to go earlier. He had to go quicker. He had options blasting forward. He froze.
Pendlebury with a calm mind. He'll get it back. His 32nd final tonight by this champion. Going 4-2-4, just a couple behind the great Michael Tuck now. Josh Daicos towards Cameron. Crows fly over the top. Missed the footy on the way through. Emery squirts out. Daicos through the head back to Membry. Now Crisp with a bit of flow to Goey. McCreary just missed it on the run through, although out there the Pies, they get another opportunity, centre wing.
Crisp wanted to go for a run. He was in a tight spot. His handball's been coughed up. Dawson weaving through some traffic. That was classy, but the kick was completely errant. Parker. So Parker, aggressive ball up the middle, and it's been stolen by Smith. Looping ball to Walker. Walker throws it on the boot, bouncing ball. Frampton couldn't trap it. Thilthorpe grabbed it. Off to Keys. How will it sit? Two Pies grab him.
Riley just needed to take his moment. Kick the goal. Keep it simple. Finals footy. And credit to the Pies. They are swarming with their tackle pressure. This is an amazing effort from these two guys. Darcy Moore's been everywhere.
Crows are pressing. At the back to Houston. Thilthorpe elected to go by hand. Gave up the shot. Quaynor well placed down the line to Membry.
There's error after error there. Frampton coming at the ball, but the Pies they've just got that edge of composure at the moment. We know they're one of the oldest teams in the competition, if not the oldest. This man here has been doing it for 400 games. They just slow it down when they need to. Sidebottom's had his moments. They won't let the occasion get to them. The Crows have got to throw punches.
Membry. Happy just to steady it for now. Into the final 15 minutes of the first qualifying final.
Yeah, this is good by the Pies. Slow it down, give them two enemies, the clock and the scoreboard.
Myercheck. There's a lead short, he ignores, wheels and goes with a long full extension on the kick. And eventually King got a hand to it and out.
Well, for the first three quarters, neither team had scored bring the ball out of defensive 50. The first time that's ever happened in a final. Just shows you how hard it is to score for the Crows from here.
David King and Jack Revolt explaining the game to you alongside Matt Hill. Eddie Betts and Mark Rasciuto. Walker stands up. Frampton nails the ball across the line.
He's been fantastic tonight, Billy Frampton. Found his way back into the team probably a month ago. Looked a bit rusty, but he's worked into tonight's game. He's been phenomenal behind the ball. Allowed Darcy Moore to play his game.
Schultz does well. Down low to Pendlebury, back to Schultz. Snap round the corner, 3-on-3 up here. Elliott's grabbed it, they grab him.
Thank you. Collingwood by 2 at quarter time, 6 at half time, 19 at three-quarter time. That was after Adelaide kicked the last 3 of the term. After Collingwood to kick 7 unanswered. Bond needs to be clear and clever. Lands to Parker. Pedler, who's kicked free himself, immediately applies a tackle.
And you'll see that from Collingwood. As soon as they get tackled, they want to hold the ball in, slow it up. They don't want those cough-ups that allow the Crows to get onto it and create chaos balls.
Cameron stood his ground in the ruck. He found a free kick, and it's going to Crows. So Berry, Dawson had to be fast, eventually got the kick away. Quaynor was in seat 1A, punched away from him, led to Walker, further afield with a low one, it's a good one, Pedler.
And he's been charged with the responsibility of Darcy Moore. He's actually trying to tag Darcy Moore right now and getting good looks.
And they're lowering their eyes when they go forward. Tex could have easily had a ping there, but he did lower the eyes and found Pedler.
From a Collingwood point of view, at least you're giving up long, wide shots. Low percentage ball.
So, Luke Pedler, 9 goals for the season before tonight, 3 in a qualifying final to date. Next goal so important, misses.
Pendlebury's done the majority of kicking in tonight. Favours the near side. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's Cameron. Just happy to take seconds off here and seconds off there, the Pies. Caught in two minds. Long in the path of Cox. Has competed well in the air. Hasn't necessarily marked them, but he's brought them to ground. Lipinski, Pendlebury, forward by hand. Crisp, concerns here for the Crows. Drives it, really well positioned. Membry was at the back and Weil was at the front.
So corridor handball the Pies are getting going is causing all sorts of problems for the Crows, who cannot go with them. Gee, he took that casually, Murray. And it's on the full. He had to come forward to that ball.
So after Worrell took a non-negotiable, he spoils his work out of bounds on the full. So McCreery.
No one in the lead lane here. Big space to come into for a Collingwood forward.
So McCreery thumps it towards the top of the square. Phil Thorpe with the fist and out. Collingwood pressing again. Skipper's on the bench for the Crows.
Just been seen by the doctor, but looks like it's all clear. Putting his sock and boot back on now.
Still no Rome Steele in the game for the Pies. Just having a look at the issue. He was run down from behind by Schultz. Collingwood looking for a big blow here. Spills out to go. He kicked it into a teammate. Membry, Worrell, Lipinski spins out of trouble and then back into trouble.
Before the spin.
Playing right into Collingwood hands here. Repeat inside 50 stoppages.
Phil Thorpe. Loose ball, McCreery trying to run onto it, trying to harass them out of it. Worrell's there. Important ball, that one. Murray with the standing tackle.
And lost a boot there, McCreery as well.
Darcy Moore is all on his lonesome in the middle of the ground as well.
Time just starting to become an issue for the home side. Scoring's dried up the last 5 or 6 minutes. Phil Thorpe and Mason Cox. Cox splits it out. Nick Daicos, one way back the other. He's been brilliant by foot. He's just massaged and wedged and eased kicks all over the Adelaide Oval. And he finds Membry.
And the weapon is both sides of the body there. You can see he's just scooting away, sort of having a look over one shoulder, having a look over the other. And all he's trying to do is to get away and find an easy 15-metre mark. He knows it buys him time. It buys another mark inside 50 and another shot on goal.
Tim Membry, 30 goals for the season. To take it back out to a very comfortable 23 points. Brings it, but doesn't bring it enough. So both teams missing set shots.
And
10.5 on the clock.
Again, it's Daicos getting that first handball receive off stoppage. So the Crows are diligent for the actual clearance, but then fall asleep on him 2 to 3 seconds post.
Keen's kick interesting, exiting 50. Collingwood all over it. Schultz taken high. So Schultz palms it off, and then Houston's kick was smothered. Peatling did well. He's going to get a second chance at it too, although Houston won the football and then retreats backwards, backpedals to Frampton. Wasn't the required trip. Goes inboard to Cox.
Even that from Billy Frampton there, just didn't panic. It's an important kick inside there. Lots of numbers in the D50 for Collingwood at the moment. This draws them out.
I like this. You've got a 3-goal lead. Make them come to you.
Darcy Moore, massive first half.
Take a minute off the clock here. That serves them well.
Park will continue the chip and move.
They can do it again. They can go backwards again here.
And they did this last time against the Crows.
Maynard's had enough. He smashes the ball inside 50. Now Miller, how much speed does he want to put on it? How aggressive does he want to be? Very.
Walker gets it moving. He has to. Saligo's in space. Takes the mark, just short of half forward. Pedler runs on by. He goes out to Cumming. Too far out to score. Dawson and Thilthorpe to the forwards. Through the hands of Thilthorpe. Side bottoms there to collect it and has a bit of time to give some instructions. And then put his boot into it towards McCreary and Michael Annie. And it's close to the line and eventually over.
You can just see what skill side bottom wanted to do then. He was sort of directing Bo McCreary, saying, I want to kick it close to the boundary so it goes out of bounds. Come over to me. So he comes over and they get a stoppage again. With a hit there on Lockie Schultz.
52,187 in attendance here to kick off the finals on Fox for 2025. Daicos, Thilthorpe. Throw advantage to Peatling. Centering ball, Walker's going to be in a difficult position. Somehow it comes to ground. Houston scooped it out to DeGoey. Now Perryman. Exit towards Schultz and Smith. Smith gets front position. Plays it nicely, but only 8.5 on the clock now.
Is this a throw? Oh.
A little bit of luck sometimes to win finals, Jack. Umpire's just seen that as a
throw.
A handball.
Thilthorpe. Dinky little kick marked by Josh Daicos.
It's another one. I mean, that has happened all night. Intercept mark number 25. Can't recall a number like that, particularly in a final.
8 minutes to go. Josh Daicos in the Cox direction. Myercheck was there as well. Eventually grabbed it, and he was grabbed, and he threw it.
Have you seen the game of Mason Cox into the side?
Yeah, I thought he's done okay. I mean, 8 disposals, he's been long down the line target. He's brought it to ground. He hasn't allowed their back 6 to intercept mark. Gave away a costly 50, but outside of that, he's been pretty good.
Looked like Parker subbed out for Roan Steele, playing just game number 4. Started the season at West Perth. Now he's playing in a qualifying final for the Pies.
What a moment to come on as well. 7.5 minutes to go. Staring down the barrel of a big win away from home in the first final.
Neil Bullen down the line. Frampton, he's had a good night as Big Billy.
26.
Josh Daicos to Maynard. Thumps it back into the middle of the ground. Murray with the diffusing fist. Crisp takes it on. And through it. So Adelaide get another chance. They're running out of time here as Neil Bullen throws it to Keys.
Keys looks into the pocket for Walker. Big kick this. He's done it so many times at this ground. Plays on. Taylor Walker. It's coming. Not enough. Couple of misses in the second half for the big Texan. Narrows the margin, but by only a point.
Maynard in the Cameron and O'Brien direction. O'Brien couldn't mark it. Dawson's quick hands. Bond, Miller at Dawson. Murray back to Bond. Now towards the corridor. Soligo. Out he goes to Smith, who's been subbed on. Long kick towards the square. It's going to float, and the only one under it was Moore.
Not the best use at all there. Cody Smith just pumped it long. Darcy Moore, intercept mark number?
Intercept mark number 8 for Darcy. 27 for the Pies.
What a captain's game he's played. Cameron shoved. O'Brien back to Keane. Spins it round the corner. Opportunity for the Crows going forward. Another one for the impregnable wall of D. Moore.
Number 9. This is the best.
No how tonight as well, which has been the weakness probably for Collingwood as well, over the last year when they haven't had him.
It's been the best game I've seen Darcy Moore play. He's played some beauties.
This season or full stop?
Well, I think 9 intercept marks. He would never have done that before.
In a big final.
In a final when you had to have it. His positioning first class.
A restless local crowd. Berry couldn't control it on the ground. To go, he puts the pressure on. Cameron drew his body in. Ball still to be won. Nick Daicos working in there hard. Came out to Pendlebury, who kept his footing. Then he spreads it wide. Races on. Foot race. The exuberance of youth. Steele's kick was good to Lipinski. They can go back.
Professionally, 30 seconds. Take it 30 seconds. How good was Pendlebury there? Time slowed down when you had the ball in the hands in the middle of the ground. Knew that he had a free number on the outside and just got it out there. Just here, bolting through.
Again, a non-tackle though. I mean, he's in the hands, he's in the clutches of the Crows, and they just don't stick the tackle.
It's gone short to Elliott, who can go back to Lipinski, so they're more than happy to milk this as much as they can. And now short again to Sidebottom, who steps up to the plate.
Let 80 metres to get that still Sidebottom. He knows the importance of just controlling the ball with the clock here at the moment.
Sidebottom. Eventually the long kick towards full forward. Miller at the fall of the ball for Adelaide. Scrambles the kick to Fogarty. Beats one, beats two. But the Pies are hovering. Keys, he's grabbed. Eventually got rid of it. And then Fogarty boots the ball. Michael Addy has it in the middle.
Last roll of the dice stuff for the Crows. They need to go in a hurry. They need to score here, and Berry's run down by the heart and soul man Maynard.
Just the rush to get back to help out. Michael Addy was free there. It was only Darcy Moore in the way between him and the goals. But the Collingwood players just rushed to get back to help out Maynard. He's the epitome of the desperation we've seen tonight from them.
Cameron down towards Long. O'Brien kick, and as far as Sidebottom. Just paddles it back to his ruckman. Progresses it by hand. Smith. Dawson. Wobbling ball forward. Maynard again in the clinches. Free kick, front on contact. It's going the way of the Pies, and again, it's Bruzzy.
I'll just milk the clock here. There's no more professional team in the competition right now at understanding what to do with 3:15 left.
This man here's had a fantastic night, Jack Crisp, as well. He's looked so dynamic when he's running the ball.
The Magpie Army outnumbered clearly 52,000 people tonight, but the chant goes around. Nick Daicos, look at that. Dances around beautifully. Straight to Schultz. Cream rises. So Lockie Schultz can go back 17 disposals tonight. And again, the skills of Nick Daicos, the maestro, on display.
It's the gap in the game. What he's done by foot has separated this game.
So Lockie Schultz from 49 metres out got close to the man on the mark, trying to give it everything, and it's set up for O'Brien.
17-point margin. There's going to be a few positives for Adelaide if they roll out here and get done. Isaac Rankin. If everything was to go forward for the Crows and they're able to win finals from here and reach the grand final, if they lose this one, he could potentially get an opportunity. That's about the only positive on a dark night.
Well, it's been glaringly obvious that they've missed him. They've missed had something special around the ball. At stoppage, forward 50 and around the ground as well.
Michael Addy went without it. Long with the handball to Nick Daicos to buy a check.
There it is again. I mean, what he has done with the football tonight is extraordinary. Nick Daicos, he's had space, and again, it's first receive off traffic. That they've fallen asleep with Nick in general play, and he's made them pay every time.
So Myercheck, he'd love a goal. He's kicked 4 behinds for the night. That's the assignment for Brodie Myercheck. And he's going to rack up another behind.
What about the coach? I mean, he talks about walking the walk of a winner. 15 from 18, finals 1 as a player, and this will be 5 from 7 as a coach.
Extraordinary record. Especially the form they came in, or lack of. Phil Thorpe, and the Collingwood chant goes up. In a small pocket, Neil Bullen sends it forward. Rankin can't gather it. Chris Can gives it to Rankin. To Pendlebury. Steps. He's untouchable, Pendlebury. Chris wobbles it forward. Maynard there again. Now McCreary takes a bounce. Dishes it off to Nick.
And then back to McCreary, who just loves a run. He runs to 54, props it over the top of the square for Elliott. He might get a chance onto the left. He's a miracle worker. They have been remorseless and relentless. And Jamie Elliott kicks for the cream on the cake for Collingwood.
Well, you wouldn't have seen it, but Daicos, he celebrated as McCreary took off with the ball. 90 metres from goal. He knew how that move he was going to finish, and then he just fist pumped and celebrated with the crowd. He knew. Just have a look in the background here as he gives this off. He knows exactly what's going to happen. Watch this. Bang! The double cobra. And as soon as Elliott goes to work here, he faces the crowd and says, we've done it. What a team on the road the Pies are.
They're fantastic. They've got a great record here at the Adelaide Oval. The Crows fans start to stream out. The man who started it with the first goal of the game, Jamie Elliott, is the man who finishes it as well. It's been a domination by the Pies here. You see what it means to Craig McRae as well.
Back in the middle, Laird squeezes it forward. Quaynor provides the fist. Pendlebury with the tackle. Back to Quaynor. What a performance this has been by the Pies. Scooped out the back. Neil Bullen runs into Maynard. You'll know about that one. He's slow to get up. There is Rome Steele. Gets a possession out towards Elliott. Mark Payne. Siren goes. Collingwood love Adelaide. They've come to the Oval. They've stolen it. And their next outing will be the MCG in a preliminary final. Collingwood get the job done in front of a hostile crowd. There'll be buses going back across the border with partying Pies packed in. Collingwood off to a prelim.
Unbelievable. 3 weeks ago they came here. 71 inside 50s. All the stats said they would win and they didn't. But tonight they roll back out in the biggest of games. And they've been fantastic. That man there was incredible, Nick Daicos. They controlled the game and it started from their back half. And a man who had, well, David King said the best game of his career is without Mark Casciuto.
Darcy, that was an unbelievable performance, mate. Well done.
Thanks, mate. It's just unbelievable. We're so blessed to be out here, mate. So blessed to have the team that we've got. We have such a great time out here in big games, and tonight was no different. So proud of them. What a performance.
Adelaide's had a dominant forward line all year, but tonight you guys dominated back there. What was the plan before the game? How did you end up with so many intercept marks tonight?
Yeah, look, our defence has been our real strength all year. You know, we're the number one team over the whole season for points against, so you can't fake that. That's our record. So we knew we had that. We got the runs on the board in that respect, excuse the cliche. But we got a good look at it a few weeks ago as well, like kept them to a pretty low score, admittedly in the wet, but yeah, mate, I'm going to give the boring answer, trust our system and go to work. But, yeah, I just think it was a real complete team performance tonight. And, the defence was just unbelievable.
Leading into the finals, the form hadn't been that good. I think you won 1 out of 6 games. What did Coach Craig McRae say just heading into the final?
Yeah, look, clearly not ideal. You want to get results. But we are, as a team, like, probably sounds cliche, but we're always working on our game. We are always moving forward. We're not looking back. We're not trying to recreate something we once had. The season is a journey. We're just trying to learn more about ourselves as a team. And that period, yes, we lost the game by a point, lost the game by a kick against the Suns, and a few disappointing performances. But we've got a lot of trust in this group, mate. So when you've got that trust, you've got that belief and real character in the group, you can, regardless of results, you can bring your best. And I think we know that finals footy is a whole different ball game, and yeah, we proved that tonight.
Jordan De Goey back in full flight helps as well, doesn't it?
Oh, mate, he's had a 12-month pre-season, so he should be ready to go. He's been working so hard and had so many setbacks. and he just looks, he looks good, doesn't he? So he's one of a few guys who are just definitely peaking at the right time.
All right, go and enjoy it with the teammates. Good luck in the prelim.
Thanks, Roo. Good on you, mate.
So Collingwood earned the week off and a home preliminary final at the MCG. They are one big step closer to a grand final. An extraordinary defensive performance, in particular by their skipper Darcy Moore. 9 intercept marks, the most in a final. We can see both teams gathering here to pay tribute to Taylor Walker in game number 300. Jason Dunstall, he tried hard, but he couldn't quite haul his Crows over the line.
No, he gave his all. He certainly was one of the better contributors for the Crows, but too few, unfortunately, from their perspective. Great to see in the mix of what's a great away win for Collingwood, a big final win that gets them into prelim. They've still got the composure to think about this, to go over, to be a part of the Guard of Honour, and he acknowledges that, Tex Walker, but this has been a masterclass from Collingwood.
And little Louis got that Collingwood jumper
He's
on.
jump
That's a bit harsh.
He's
Got the
pulled out
Daicos on,
yeah,
35.
You can probably understand that after the way Nick played tonight. But no, special moment for Taylor Walker. We know what he's meant to this football club.
Have a look at him. He wants to run over to the Collingwood players.
Yeah, he wants his dad to take you into the Collingwood rooms. But they'll be disappointed, no doubt. The Crows, they didn't play anywhere near their best tonight. We'll talk about them a bit later. The lucky thing about finishing on top is they get the double chance, and they'll be back here next week to try and redeem themselves. So they'll walk off, lick their wounds, and they've got a lot to work on. We spoke about some vulnerabilities of them coming into this game. They were exposed, but this team tonight was just brilliant. I thought the way that they started this contest, they knew what they needed to do. They knew what it took to win a final. Right from the outset, their leaders stood up. They all jumped on board. The back line was sensational, and they deserve to be into another prelim, and look, aren't they pumped?
And that man, Nick Daicos, further enhances his reputation as one of the game's absolute best. Not hard to see why little Louis Walker has jumped ship with the number 35 on his back, because he is a player that just makes you love our game.
He is, and they dominated through the midfield. I mean, there's some serious problems there for the Adelaide Crows, and it shows you how much they rely on their skipper, Jordan Dawson. If he doesn't dominate the contest, well, then they're a little bit lost in the middle of the ground, and Collingwood just dominated Nick Daicos. He makes every possession count, so he doesn't have to get, I mean, he normally does get a heap of it, but even when he doesn't, he uses them so well. He's either setting up goals or setting up teammates with the opportunity to send the team into attack.
So the fallout now for the Adelaide Crows, who are going to have to do it the hard way. Joey, what does this mean for them today? They get to play here again at the Adelaide Oval next week, so another home final. They've earned the right as the team that won the minor premiership, but things are trickier now. Yeah, they are, but they deserve the second chance, and more often than not, the team that gets the double chance will bounce back and win at home. So they're going to take on the winner of the Giants and Hawthorn, which is not going to be easy, because we know those two teams, whoever win is going to be in red hot form. But no, we'll touch on Adelaide. No doubt their ball movement is becoming a big concern. It has been for a big part of the year, particularly the last 6 or 8 weeks. Their clearance game, which we also touched on, they got exposed a bit, and they had to throw Rory Laird back in the midfield. So they've got some concerns, but I think they'll be right and should be able to bounce back. But Collingwood are now the ones in the box seat. They've set themselves up magnificently. Jace, it's going to be a fun bus ride home to Melbourne for the Collingwood convoy that made its way. We know Greg Kelly, the CEO, put on a couple of buses to get the fans over here, and you can see them out in force. I think you should not fly home with us. You should jump on that bus and head home with the fans.
Wouldn't that be a lot of fun? They travel as well as any team supporters, Collingwood. They are loyal to a fault, and you can see the players acknowledge them. There's a small black and white army here, and what a trip it has been worthwhile coming over. They will remember this trip for a long time. That is going to be one they're going to celebrate all the way home.
Their record here is fantastic too. We spoke about the 10-1 coming in, and the one loss was that recent one, and it was an unusual game. All the stats said that they probably should have saluted in that game. They take so much confidence from this, and now they get to play at the MCG in a prelim final. It is a massive advantage, Joey. Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing, this record now at the Adelaide Oval, but now they get another rest. They get to freshen up again, which I think will probably suit. We know it's the oldest team ever to go out into a final. They'll get that break. They'll plan really well. They'll be able to watch and see who they get to come up against, and there's no reason why this team shouldn't be feeling really good about themselves to be able to win another premiership right now.
They missed the magic. They missed the magic of Isaac Rankin tremendously tonight. That spark inside 50. They had no answers to throw into the middle to get a wild card. When you said Laird in the end, they don't want to be going back to Laird. Now they want to be going to Rankin, and that's the gap in the game. Daicos' footwork and his kicking separate the game, Jace.
Yeah, he's elite doesn't do it justice, does it? He does what other players can't do, quite simply. From the moment he kicked that first goal, where I thought he was off balance and he would have had to have kicked the check side, he found a way to kick a drop punt off the outside of his boot. To every kick that he's had throughout the course of the night, he just makes them better every time he's involved in the passage of play.
And full credit to Craig McRae. Some of the things we thought may have happened didn't quite, but it was still sidebottom. It only played 5% of the season as a forward. Played 50% forward tonight. Kicks the goals. Pendlebury playing a little bit more behind the ball. They brought Mason Cox in, who had some impact at times, and you've got to salute the coach as well for what he's been able to do to get this team in the right state of mind, the right game plan. They hadn't been playing great footy that last 6 weeks, but when it mattered most, they stood up.
We haven't seen Darcy Moore play a game like that for I don't know how long. His positioning was first class. He put Maynard where he needed to be. He put Frampton where he needed to be. And he just stood out the back unopposed for 80 of the 120 minutes. It was just a work of art from the coach's box. And Matty Nix, to be fair, he didn't have the answers.
Craig McRae looks absolutely pumped, as he well should be. A superb coaching performance, a superb performance by his boys as they gather in the rooms, getting everyone together there.
Yeah, this will be an all-in, the big road trip, all staff involved in the song.
Collingwood players and staff, and what a moment it is. A big win on the road, and it certainly opens up the path to glory for them. They're one giant leap closer to that last Saturday in September. Now they only need to win a preliminary final at home at the MCG to book a ticket to the grand final. That man on screen, Darcy Moore, we're going to break down shortly the game he had, arguably the best game of his career, the leadership and poise he showed in defence. The defence in general, Jason, was just so rock solid. They had Adelaide rattled. They really didn't know how to go inside 50 with any poise or any execution.
They had all the answers, didn't they? There was terrific pressure upfield. I think that's one of the reasons Adelaide was so poor going forward. The pressure further afield was outstanding. Too many quick kicks that they didn't have time to compose themselves, the Crows. And as soon as that happened, Collingwood was just so well set up behind the ball. They won all the important one-on-one contests. If it wasn't Darcy Moore, it was Adam Quainer, even Frampton won some one-on-ones. Yep. But they were important one-on-ones that were there to be at least halved by Adelaide, and they weren't good enough to do it. So kudos to the Collingwood defence. They were sensational.
We're going to head down into the room shortly. Mark Howard and our team are gathering some of the biggest names in the business to chat to, and it will be fascinating to get the thoughts of the team as they work through this win and celebrate and enjoy it.
There's a little bit of 2023 about this, where they were top of the table, unchallenged for a period, lost their way in terms of wins and losses, and didn't have a rusted-on plan for 4 to 6 weeks. It's exactly the same this year as 2023, and we all doubt whether they can get it back because we're assessing performance as they're in real time. But Craig McRae, I just feel like he has something up his sleeve all the time, whether it's a motivational piece or a theme. We saw him pre-game laughing. We see most teams doing that, but he just has a way of gearing this team first week of finals.
Well, I think part of his secret is they just continue to talk about moment by moment. So whether it's quarter or contest or a game, and we look at the season stats or look at what their teams have done and where they've dropped away, but they just worry about winning one game of footy. All it was tonight was find a way to get this job done. They set themselves, they steal themselves some moves, some players stood up, some players back in form that had been down on form, Jamie Elliott included, and they just get the win. Now they just get to reset moment by moment and worry about one win in a prelim final.
It's amazing how one win can turn things around, because for the last 6 weeks of the season, everyone was doubting them. look, we even doubted them coming into the finals of whether they're going to be a genuine premiership chance. You have one performance like that, you give yourself an opportunity now.
All right, let's head down into the rooms. Howie, what's it like down there? The vibe must be amazing. Have you got the star of the show with you?
We do, and Sarah, it is a room full of emotions. Nick, we'll talk about the game, but you're coming in here, the CEO, Craig Kelly, was just about in tears. I saw the coach embracing people. The emotion of footy, it's something fantastic. Congratulations to you and your team, mate.
No, thank you. It was an amazing game. Credit to Adelaide, they were unbelievable, but we came over here on a mission and we got it done. It was unreal to see our faithful travel, and we're super proud to play in front of them every week, so bloody unreal.
Can you take us inside what it's like to come over here to a Cauldron? You were only here 3 weeks ago and the result didn't fall your way. What was the focus leading into the game? Because there was a lot of hype, obviously. Tex Walker's 300th as well.
Absolutely. It feels like sort of everyone on the outside world's been saying that we're no good since the second half of the season, but we feel like our game's been in really good shape, and we came across here 2 weeks ago and put up a really good fight, just lost to the ladder leaders. So we were really confident coming over that if we brought our pressure in our A game, we'd be able to get it done. And it's sort of one thing to think it, it's another thing to do it. So I think that's where the emotion comes from right now.
Does the naysayers steal you as a player? Because I don't think many people would have given you a chance coming over here tonight. Obviously, Thursday night footy, a big final. They would have thought Adelaide were obviously going to be the favourites. Does it steal you when you hear people say, maybe they can't win?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think when you're doubted, you get a lot of inspiration off that, and no doubt the boys have sort of heard some of the stuff that's been said around our performances, and we haven't finished the season that great, that's reality, but as I said, I feel like our game's been in good shape, and we're through to a prelim now, so there's still plenty more work ahead of us, but it's a good position to be in.
Your kicking tonight, we were trying to describe it, you're wedging balls, you were easing them, you were squeezing them, we were looking for different adjectives, Jack, but your ability in tight spaces to hit little 45-degree kicks was outstanding. How much work goes into that to be able to come out and do that on a stage like this tonight?
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of work sort of gone into it. I think Dad's the main driver of that. He's taught me how to kick different kicks my whole life, and said it's been super important growing up. So I've tried to do it, but missed a couple set shots there too. So it doesn't all go your way, but we'll keep improving.
He had that ball, didn't he, at one stage, the special ball where you had to put your hands on surface. Is that how you do it?
He did. We had one of those growing up that was sort of left over, and we'd always sort of kick it around casually with Dad and just have a laugh about it. But it was nice.
Can you take us in how it feels as a player now? And I'm quite jealous actually, because it's been a while since I've been in a room that's obviously just had a victory in a big final. There's obviously the people watching at home, the Collingwood fans, they would be screaming in their lounge rooms. There was a few thousand here tonight screaming as well in final.
Oh, it means everything. Last year we watched on after achieving the ultimate in 2023, and it sucks sort of watching everyone else go through the finals. So our ambition was to get back here. Fortunately got the double chance, and now we're through to a prelim. Hopefully got a couple players that are at home doing their rehab over the next couple of weeks, and will join us in the prelim too. So it's super exciting.
It's been one of the things that a lot of people have questioned has been your back six without Jeremy Howe tonight. They were incredible tonight. Darcy Moore, an unbelievable intercept game. Billy Frampton was fantastic. I think Isaac Quainer probably had his best game for the year tonight. Without Jeremy Howe, one of the players you speak about who should be resting up and getting ready for a big final is Jeremy Howe. How proud of you are the back six?
So proud. I think Adelaide were probably the best scoring team in the competition, them and the Bulldogs. So to keep them to 55 points, as you said, and Darcy Moore's game was unbelievable. Billy Frampton was unbelievable. Isaac Quainer, Braden Maynard, the list goes on. Our back line were absolutely huge, and then you look up the field and I thought Coxie was huge, Bo McCreary, Ned Long, Geordie Pendles. I could name everyone, but that's what it takes to get in this position and be going into a prelim, a whole team performance, and we deliver with that.
We've got some different vision here. Taylor Walker being cheered off in his 300th game. But he was telling us pre-game, and these are fantastic scenes for an icon of this football club. He told us pre-game that he had to work on his young bloke all week to not wear a Collingwood number 35 with him as he ran out on the ground. He's got the Collingwood jumper on there. Like, this is the love for you. That's an extraordinary scene, Nick.
No, absolutely. That's little Louis, who has been a little fan of
and he's got his Collingwood jumper on.
Yeah, he's been a little fan of the Pies this year. We brought over a jersey for him with the number 35 and with Walker on the back, and gave it to him pre-game and asked him, are you going to wear it?
He's brave in the rooms there wearing that though, isn't he? They've just lost a big final. He's got your number on the back.
I asked him if he was going to wear it on the way out to the game, and he said no, but I think he did worse and wore it after we won, so I don't know how Tex will be feeling.
We'll let you go, mate. We appreciate it. We might try and have a chat with the skipper shortly, but congratulations to you and your footy team.
Thanks. Well done, mate.
Fantastic work by Nick Daicos. The skipper's walking out the back there, so we'll see what we can rustle up here, Sarah, but wow. And number 35, son of an Adelaide Crow in his 300th game wearing a Nick Daicos jumper. You'd have to see it to believe it. That's how much they love Nick Daicos.
Well, why wouldn't you love him? Because he's a star. And I love what he said about having kicks with his dad and his brother in the backyard. Joey, you get the sense that no kid has kicked the footy around the backyard more than Josh and Nick Daicos. And Kingy, it shows in the way he plays out there. I mean, obviously he's got the skill, but gosh, he's done some practicing.
Well, just have a look at the different sorts of kicks this guy can do. He uses the outside of the foot better than anyone in the comp. That's left foot back into the corridor. And there was no option long down the line. That was it. And he hit it. That was their first goal. They bombed that in. Elliott gets onto it. This here, Jason, you talked about earlier, I don't know how he's kicked this. I've got no idea how he's done that. So he has 12 kicks inside the forward half of the ground and goes at 75%. He creates 7 scores. You look at the Crows players. Dawson goes at 17%. Saligo, 46. Cumming, 40. And the list goes on. This guy just does things with the football that no one else can do.
It's also the vision that goes with it. So he sees things that a lot of players wouldn't see. But and then he's capable of actually hitting it.
He uses all of his foot though, Jason. It's quite rare, isn't it?
And he's also got the pace to give himself time to work out what he wants to do with it. So, superstar.
Superstar indeed. Let's head now to the rooms where Howie, I believe, has got the superstar coach. And Howie, what a weapon he can deploy in Nick.
Yeah, my word, he's a superstar. Now, I was talking about the emotion of the rooms. I don't want to embarrass you, but that was some, well, passionate kissing with your wife is the only way I can describe it, Coach, in the background there.
Yeah, no, she came over for the weekend and left the kids behind, but it's amazing, you know, like how many hours that she has to sacrifice for me to do this job, and yeah, she's pretty special. Yeah.
Well, you just said to me before we come on air, how good is winning prelims?
Oh, yeah.
Or how good is getting to prelims?
Oh, yeah.
How good is it?
Yeah, no, it's This is huge. This is huge. Away from home, and you know, incredible Magpie Army. There's hundreds of them been on buses since this morning, and they've allowed us here. They're going, no, we can't thank our Magpie Army enough. This is a big win for our club.
We'll talk about some individuals and the team performance. The captain, Darcy Moore, had a massive job without Howe down there in the back. I think he had 7 or 8 intercept marks in the first half alone. How did you see his game and his influence on the game?
He's so important to us when he plays like that. You know, marking the ball. I actually sent the runner out when Tex Walker took a mark. I think it might have been in the third quarter, and I just said, mate, you don't have to try to mark everything. And then he does this incredible kill spoil, but he's reading the play really well here. We got him in a great position, and this is him at his absolute best, and he's one of the best in the competition when he's playing like this.
Well, if you think about this, these are predominantly after he was challenged very early as well. Had that little slip up which cost you a goal early in the game, the first goal for Adelaide. But to bounce back like this and to have the impact, David King said this is potentially the best game he's ever seen Darcy Moore play.
Yeah, that's fair. No, that'd be fair. I know he's had a terrific start of the year, and then he had a bit of a flat spot at the end, like we all did. But yeah, this is what he is. He's an All-Australian intercept marker, and just his positioning. We've been working really hard on his positioning, his prep work, and not only him, the system. That's a system allowing him to do that, yeah?
So you were 3 games clear at one point, and I think you lost 5 of your last 7.
We're still talking about that one?
Well, no, we're talking about the win now. How did you get that win going? Like, what do you say to your team tonight to inspire the confidence in them to come out here and do what they did?
You know, it's just a whole new competition. You know, it all starts fresh. It's us versus them, and 18th in this and 14th in that. Doesn't matter. There's 10 teams aren't playing anymore. So all of a sudden you rise the ladder on those things. But this is just winning this game. You know, it becomes match play, and you know, I build up the fact that we're still the number 1 defence in the competition according to points and pressure. Those things stack up in finals.
How hard was it to make the sub? Because we were sort of looking through the list going, well, Roan still wants to come in. You sub Will Parker, but he was fantastic as well. I think that's a sign of the actual performance that we've seen tonight. We've focused on Darcy Moore. We've seen Nick Daicos. We know they're Champions Year club, but the spread away from home in front of 52,000 predominantly Crows fans, I think that's the thing you walk away tonight going, well, that was a really complete game.
Oh, well, we just had role players, you know, and the sub, because we thought that Dan Houston to go back, have experience late is so critical in these games. So that was probably all the reasoning was. And you know, young Roan come on and had an impact within 5 minutes. He's had an incredible journey himself from Perth to, he played VFL to Perth into here. He's played in the final in Adelaide. It's a good story in itself.
Jeremy Howe will be sitting at home watching this. Sorry, Jack. Jeremy Howe will be watching. And hello to Jeremy. Realistic chance if the opportunity arises in 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, we're optimistic. You know, he's a good healer. So he says that to me all the time. This is what this does. It gives us a week to reload, reset, and to see who our opposition is. At the moment, it's, what's there, still 8 teams then? Yeah. After this round 6, and then the next time we play, there'll be 4, and that's how close we are now.
And what does the week ahead look like? You've been here before, you've had the week off, you've been at Richmond when they've had the week off as an assistant coach. Do you sort of turn off for a little bit and bask in the glory of the win and then turn your attention to the prelim?
Oh, well, we'll certainly celebrate this one. Like, that's real. We want to have deep wins, and this is a really deep win for our footy club, so we'll stay in it for this moment, and then we'll reset ourselves. We'll have the weekend off now, which we probably didn't have that luxury if we didn't get the job done. Our VFL plays Saturday, and then we'll see where we go.
How long does it take you to wind down? Like, what time do you actually manage to get to sleep tonight, Coach?
Do you get to sleep tonight?
No, I'll enjoy a red wine replay tonight, though. That'll be fun. Not much sleep tonight.
We appreciate it. Congratulations to you and your team. We'll see you in the prelim final.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Thanks, Jack.
Craig McRae, Sarah. So they're still celebrating down here, but great to speak to the coach, who is obviously absolutely pumped, although, as he said, I don't think he'll be getting much sleep tonight.
Red wine replay sounds a bit of fun on Fox Footy. Jordan De Goey, Jace, his role tonight, 26 disposals and a goal. He just has that big finals game performer about him, doesn't he?
He does, but what also stood out to me was his pace around the contest. They made the Adelaide midfield in particular look very slow. The times, he's obviously fit. They put plenty of work into him, but he was able to buy himself space, and that's why you're hitting these targets, because you're not under pressure. And even in tight contests, look at the pace. He can burst away, and he led them a merry dance. I thought he was one of the best players on the ground, clearly.
Yeah, and he used it as really well also. He only had 2 touches in that first quarter, but in the second and third terms when the game, was in Collingwood's control, he had the 19 disposals, 6 clearances. He kicked this goal early in the third. I just thought, again, he willed himself into the contest. It was a slow start, but he just showed how he's built for September.
Just look at those corridor handballs. They've had 150 handballs tonight, and most of them coming back into the aggressive part of the ground. Have a look at that. There, and you're on the fly. You're in a really dangerous field position right there. You can go any way inside forward 50. And I just think that they rendered the back 6 of the Crows useless straight away. They didn't get that intercept mark game going that we've seen all year, and it all looks to be coming right at the right time for the Pies. I mean, he's been a mystery tour for the year, Jason. We haven't known what he's going to be. Have a look at him, all smiles there. Gets another week to rest and recover and go again.
All right, we're going to head back to the rooms because John Ralph has joined the team. Howie, does Ralphie have any concerns about Jordan De Goey?
Well, he's got a sheet full of paper here.
There's a lot of notes there.
I think he's got about 35 minutes worth for us. What is the main talking point out of tonight, John?
Yeah, certainly the De Goey hit on Worrell, only because the comparison to a 1-week suspension 3 weeks ago is so fresh. So we'll show you this incident here. He elects to bump, he doesn't contest the ball, he makes clear head-high contact. You and I would say, yeah, that's low impact because Worrell plays on. So Jake Lloyd gets hit by Shannon Neal in round 23. It was assessed as medium impact, and it was 1 week. We'll show you that incident as well. Now, as you can see here, Jake Lloyd gets up pretty quickly, he plays on. So if you're lining up those 2 incidents, you're saying, how does one become a week and how does one become a fine? So Michael Christian isn't someone who's going to say, because it's a fine, I'll let him off. What do you think there? Is there a way we can still get to a fine, given that I don't think we feel like that should be a suspension that rules out Jordan from a preliminary final?
Well, my opinion is the Shannon Neal one wasn't in play. It was off the ball. It was a couple of metres away, and clearly he was going to Shepherd to bump. I still think De Goey is making some sort of play on the ball, whether that's to come in to Shepherd. He's close enough there, but, I mean, this will be the biggest talking point when the MRO findings come out there, because there is the moment to go down to the ball, but he's still high enough to collect Worrell in the head.
You understand the tribunal system as well as anyone, John. What do you think?
I think it's more likely to be a 1 week. So what happened from there is that it went to Ryan Angwin's hit from Alex Davies. It went to the tribunal in the same week. It got downgraded from medium impact to low impact. Now, Chris Scott said we probably should have taken the Shannon Neal incident to the tribunal. We didn't think that a hit like that could be low impact. I believe in my heart of heart it should be low impact and it should be a fine. I just line up those 2 incidents and I think they're both so similar. So I hope for Jordan's sake that this is only a fine and he's able to play in a preliminary final, but we'll wait until about 5 o'clock for Michael Christian. And for those that would say, oh, he's an old Collingwood premiership player, he's scrupulously fair. He'll look at those incidents and he'll have to make an adjudication tomorrow night.
Josh Worrell was involved on a pretty big hit with Lockie Schultz, who took a while to get to his feet as well.
It's going to be a very similar incident, as you can see here. He certainly gets him maybe with more of a forearm. He throws his arms back. He knows that he's made some high contact. Again, I think that's more of a glancing blow. I think it's more of a low-level fine, a couple of $1,000 down to $1,000 for with a good behaviour, with a guilty plea. So again, they're really line ball incidents, and what happens in round 23 has a direct precedent 3 weeks later, even though, as I say, we don't feel like those should be suspensions.
Both big impacts for both clubs. I mean, if they are to go down with suspensions, I think DeGoey's been coming back off whatever, he's been injured for the last part of the season, and finally got a run into finals and was fantastic tonight with 26 disposals. And Worrell as well, who we think's very stiff not to be an All-Australian, was fantastic again tonight behind the ball, had a lot of possessions as well. So there's big stakes to play at the MRO this week.
No, there certainly are. And so Rochelle will not play with the SNFL team on Sunday. They're in a final, but he will train through the week, and the expectation is that he will be available next week for a semi-final. Bobby Hill's hopeful of playing in a scratch match against Geelong on Saturday. I think it would be a massive task for this club to bring him in for a preliminary final, basically 40 minutes of senior football in 12 weeks, but there are a couple of storylines we'll be looking through in the next couple of days.
And John, the one thing that does come to fruition for Adelaide is the dream of Isaac Rankin. He spoke during the week, but that grand final dream with the 4-week suspension is finally alive.
It certainly is, and Adam Kelly, the club's football boss, said to me today he was desperately keen to try and train with the blokes, even if it was that they won tonight, and he was out of finals calculation. So now, they've got to win a couple of finals, but he will be champing at the bit to try and be in a grand final. His season is alive.
And John, Adelaide will host here the winner of Hawthorn versus the Giants.
That's right, and that will be a Friday night game, and so that means, of course, the other game, the Saturday clash, will be a Saturday contest all the way through. But your Friday night here, and you expect to be another 52,000 rabid Adelaide fans.
All right, back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, How. We need to get the panel's thoughts on that Jordan De Goey incident. There doesn't appear to be too much in it. You'd hate to miss a preliminary final for something like that.
No, I can't go with the hanging judge, John Ralph. I've got to go against him there. I thought the two incidents tonight were very similar. They were very much glancing contact, and they were both where the ball was in possession of the player, and the one coming in was either trying to get the ball or smother the ball. He had the right hand out there in a smothering motion, and then it's just a little bit of contact in the end. And I thought that was very similar to the other incident that Josh Worrell was involved in.
I think John Ralph will be the most unpopular man in Australia right now. I think both.
What do you mean right now?
You think he's got the title, Ralph?
Put everyone to ease, King. You put all the Adelaide Collingwood supporters that have just watched that, put them at ease.
You are very strong on head-high contact. You've really stood firm on this all year. So if you think that that's okay, I feel like that's okay.
I don't think at any point they decided they were going to lay a bump.
No.
I think it was a glancing blow. They really didn't know what they were going to do. It was in free play. Am I coming in the smother? I'm not going to get there. He doesn't mean or design to hit him in the head. I think it's a fine at worst. I mean, it's almost just one of those footy incidents.
I'd be staggered if these two players get suspended. I think both of them are doing what we're trying to... Like, De Goey, I could argue, tried to almost avoid contact there at the moment, and I reckon Worrell a bit the same. I think they now understand we can't go in hard at these situations, and they are trying in a split-second contest to actually avoid hurting the player. So we have to reward them for actually trying, and I think they'll both get a fine. At best, I'll be staggered if they get suspended for that.
Let's get Ralphie on the bus. Ralphie on one of those
Back
buses.
to Melbourne on the convoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, goodness. Joey, before we head to Matthew Nick's press conference, he's about to walk in, we need to get your Collingwood stat on. They're going to have to defy history. You did this on First Crack during the week. It is a beauty.
Yes, well, no team has won the premiership from fourth position since 1997. So they're going to have to defy history, but they're in the box seat now. So they're still going to have some challenges coming up. The prelim final, it might come out of that Brisbane-Geelong game potentially. So not going to be easy, but they've put themselves in a great spot.
Great stat. Love that on First Crack. All right, let's head down to the media conference room because Matthew Nicks is just arriving and facing the music after a disappointing loss, but they have won the right to play again next week here at home.
How quickly can we move on? We're in a unique position, which we've earned, that we play here next week. So, you don't often lose a fight or get another crack at it, but we do. So, we now prep for next week.
What do you have to address? What are the main takeaways from your areas that you're going to have to address from that?
Well, three quarters won't get it done in finals footy. I think we knew that coming in. It's the ability to do it. We were beaten tonight by a side that played better than we did. No doubt about that. So, that's our biggest lesson out of tonight.
Just that third quarter, stating the obvious that they got on a roll there from the centre. What was happening in the box from your point of view that enabled them to get that edge?
The reality, probably a bit of yelling, and they had momentum out of there, and it was one of those sort of patches where we got it wrong at centre bounce and then weren't able to hold up behind the ball. We've been so good behind the ball all year, and we've probably put our group at times under too much pressure, and unfortunately the damn wall broke for that period of time, 4 or 5 goals, and that's the game. We then sort of struggled to find our way back in, and Collingwood set up the field accordingly, and they can, they play the game on their terms. So a really, really disappointing patch, but one again that, we'll move on from as quick as we can and look to play 4 quarters next week.
Was some of that coming just from the clearance perspective? I think we spoke the other day about clearance numbers had been against you in recent weeks, but you're finding ways to win, and that was obviously the source of a lot of those.
It was in that period of time. It was, yeah. I think we won stoppage between the arcs by 9 for the night. So I know what the narrative might become. The midfield, and we're still working in there. We're a great young group that's fought really well this year. But for the 5 goals in that period, it obviously was enough to cost us the game tonight. We played some pretty good footy in around certain parts of the game, but that's just, it won't hold up in finals.
A lack of composure played a role there as well, the big sim. Do you put that down to a lack of finals experience for yourself?
Well, we'll all have finals experience next weekend. So, how quickly can we get onto that one?
At the upper end of the ground, I guess the final grab really played in their second game, especially Darcy Moore. Was that the way you were getting the ball forward, or was that just their structure?
Well, I think that comes back to probably your question more so is we lacked a little bit of composure today. Well, not a little bit. We lacked composure with the ball in hand today. There were times where we hacked it forward and maybe we didn't need it. We had an opportunity to use the ball and challenge our opponents. They're very good at shaping the ground, Collingwood. So holding their position, and it looks like they're playing extras behind the ball, but they're just holding their shape. And we really just hacked the ball into that on a number of occasions. We were also beaten in the contest too many times. So when we did have an even number ahead of the ball, they outmarked us, to their credit. Their win half was better than ours tonight.
The challenge now, how do you actually get the blokes to move on? Do you have a review tomorrow, do it quickly, or do you go through the normal process?
We've already reviewed it. Yeah, we've sat in there together. I think we're reasonably clear on where we need to be better. It's easier said than done, but I'm confident the guys stand up after that really brief, short meeting. They're recovering now, straight into how do we get ourselves physically and mentally ready for next week. We've been able to sort of regroup reasonably quickly all year, get straight back to process. What does the week look like? And as I mentioned before, that we've all got finals experience under our belt, be it a small amount, it's going to help us.
It's a massive crowd in tonight. A lot of going for Collingwood players. One in particular, one player seemed to be good. It's as a result of the start that we had the last time. Did you play any thoughts on that and the behaviour of some of the players?
No, it's not one for me to comment on.
I was just going to ask about some of the positives out of it. Obviously, Pedler performed well after a limited prep.
You did, yeah.
Is it hard to see positives for you at the moment?
No. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing some stuff right. The game's, I think, as we've spoken about, there's a patch in the game where we didn't, where it's really clear and obvious. When you're against a good side, and Collingwood are a great side. So, but we had a lot of our own opportunities during the game, and I thought you're right. I thought Pedler. It was a great performance. He's the first one back for a while. it's probably what we hoped with Peds, was he was going to be that sort of big game player and enjoy a stage like tonight, and I thought he played some great footy. As I said before, there were times where, as a team, we did some really nice stuff, had our chances, but it was just not our best night tonight.
Sorry, Nixie, just back to the crowd. You've spoken this week about, in terms of playing group, not buying into sledging. Is it disappointing, though, to see the crowd buy into that hostility, especially hostility of that nature as well?
Again, it's not for me to comment on, but I'm also sitting in a box that I'm not seeing or hearing any of that. I'm seeing a stadium that's rocking, which it should do for a final, but I'm not going to comment around that.
Laird and Keys going into the middle. Obviously had issues with Laird. Was that just trying to get something going in there?
Yeah, look, what we didn't want to do was just open the floodgates and let it continue. We'll always try something, try and inject something a little different. And so Laird, we know the experience he has. Let's get an experienced head around there and have a crack. We had Brody coming on as a sub, so it sort of worked in reasonably well. Kizzy had a look just to see if he could give us a spark in there. We were looking for something there to change momentum. In the end, we were able to do that, but not enough to the point. The damage was done. And as I mentioned before, when your opposition take that advantage, it's hard. You can try and throw everything at them. The last quarter, we really tried to take the game on, but to their credit, they were very strong. They were defensively stable. Again, continued to mark the ball on us. And so we'll make sure we get some of that detail right going into next week. But the main thing for us is let's embrace the fact that we've got another crack at it.
Captain was probably pretty quiet by his standards, and we've become used to the sort of high standards from him. I guess, what did you do to try and fill him up a bit, and how confident are you that he can sort of bounce back for next week?
I'm super confident he will. He's a competitor. That's why he's our captain. So he'll be right. He'll want the shortest week possible. See if they can play us on Wednesday next week.
Is he okay? Because he looked like he had a little bit of an ankle, limping a little bit with an ankle at one point.
I think he may have taken a little knock, but he's pulled up okay to this point. Again, I think we got through unscathed, but he took a small knock, came off for a short period, but he was okay to go back on.
The door's now open for Isaac. How was he around the group tonight, and what was that like to have him back in the mix?
Isaac was here tonight, yeah, but that's not even a conversation for us at the moment. That's right now. That's a long way off. We've got work to do well and truly before that.
Did have to see Josh Rosselli on the track before he becomes a
series. He's moving really well, Josh. Yeah, he hasn't put a foot wrong, so he'll be pushing. He's a competitor as well, so he'll be keen to get himself back in. But we've got to make the right decision there, not rush that, because he's going to be a really important player for us moving forward. So we won't push it if he's not ready.
Is there going to be a temptation, given I guess the 450 stoppage game and the goal from that when it was almost 96 and you've been one of the best teams in it this year?
Oh, there's always things you look back on and say, what if? No, we'll make decisions there, professional decisions around what's best for the player and best for the team. But as I said, he's trained really well and giving himself the best chance. We'll just weigh that up.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
So another chance for the Adelaide Crows. A few issues to deal with headed into their next clash. And the issues, David King, mostly inside 50 and how they use...
All right, just before they go on a little bit more, I just want to get through these stats. The big Magpie's got it done. Eddie G, Magpie Madness, Paul. I tell you what, there we go. Probably now going in as flag favourites. All depends on what happens between Geelong and Brisbane. There we go. It's going to be a fantastic game, that one. I'll tell you what, I don't know. Maybe Brisbane Collingwood will play off again in the grand final. You never know. 11-13-79, the Magpies. 8-7-55, the Crows. 24-point margin here. Of course, it was a tough game in that final quarter. Of course, Adelaide just putting on 3 behinds the Magpies. 1 goal, 2 in that final term to take out victory In the first final there tonight, I tell you what, it was just sensational. Let's have a look at the goal scorers, stats, before my battery goes flat. There we go. Jamie Elliott started for the night with 4 goals, top the table, still side bottom with 3. Lipinski, DeGoey, Daicos, Cameron, all singles for the Pies. For the Crows, Pedler ended up with 3. Taylor, Walker, Thilthorpe with 2. Jordan Dawson, 1 each for the Crows. Josh Ruel and Jordan DeGoey both ended up with 26 touches, respectively, for their sides. Elliott, 4 goals. Should have had 4 goals to win. I tell you, Addy G, I told you, $2.30 for the Magpies to win this game. It was very juicy. Should have been on it. Should have actually been on the multi. Should have been on that multi. I never got around to putting that multi on. I hope you listen. That's 1 down, 3 to go. There we go. As I was saying, DeGoey, a fantastic game from him. 26, 6 clearances, kicked a goal, 7 tackles, fantastic. Roy led 24. Nick Daicos, I'll tell you what, only had 24 tonight, but tell you what, that was probably 22 magical disposals that he had there. 3 clearances, 1 goal, 1. Josh also with 24. Pendles with 23. Saligo 21, Jordan Dawson just a 19. A little bit quiet was the captain tonight there for the Crows. Taylor Walker, I'll tell you what, he gave it his best shot tonight. My dogs are on the multi. What dogs? That's going to take a moment for me to sink in and think of what you're saying there. The dogs. Hang on, the dogs. There we go. I don't know. Who are the dogs? All right, there we go. Thilthorpe ended up with 15 disposals, 2 goals for him. Side bottom, really good early in the opening half. 3 goals off his 15 touches. There we go. Cameron 15. We'll just roll on down a little bit. Darcy Moore just sensational. Intercept marks galore. 13 touches, 10 marks. Those intercepts, he was fantastic tonight. Sam Berry ended up with 12. There we go. Myercheck, I tell you what, this margin could have been bigger. Myercheck had 10 disposals, 7 kicks, but he kicked 5 behinds. I think he'll need to change his footy boots for next week. Will Myercheck. There we go. Mason Cox was pretty good tonight. I tell you what, he played a role. He only had 8 disposals, 3 kicks, 5 handballs. But I tell you what, he was there for the contested ball. Of course, brought it to ground for the Crummers, so he was fantastic there tonight. Just some of the team stats, plus 67 to the Magpies overalls, plus 20 in the kicks, plus 47 in the handballs. Inside 50s, well, actually the Crows led that way. 50 inside 50s to the Crows, 15 scoring shots, and the Maggies, 24 scoring shots from 49 inside 50s. So the Crows actually plus 1. There we go. It wasn't like last 3 weeks ago where it was about 70 or 80 inside 50s. Holy moly, there we go. They certainly came in better. The disposal efficiency lifted up for the Magpies in the second half, 71. Crows still a bit low, and the efficiency inside 50 was good at 53%. Free kicks, 15 to 14, all pretty much tied up there. Just to give a big shout out to the umpires. You let the game roll a bit. It was well done. We don't like the whistle being blown too much in finals. So that was fantastic to see. Hitouts, Adelaide by 9. Clearances, Adelaide got on top by 2. There we go. Centre clearances, it was the Magpies by 2. Stoppage clearances, Adelaide plus 4. Contested, pretty tight. 135, 138 plus 3 to the Maggies. Uncontested, dominated there. 62 plus their turnovers. Reasonably high for both teams, but just a high pressure game. Thank you, umpires. There we go. I tell you what. Hopefully they umpire the rest of the finals reasonably good, like they did this one. I thought this was reasonably good. There, you can tell me in the comments if you thought the umpiring was good or bad. I thought it wasn't actually too bad tonight. Plus 19 to the marks for the Maggies. Marks inside 50, 13, 16. Plus 3 to the Pies. Adelaide got plenty of chance there. Both teams above season average. Contested marks also nice and high there, 11 to 12. Be interesting to have a little bit of a look at the tackle count there. All right, so the tackles inside 50, 6 to 7, a little bit low for both sides. They'll definitely want to bring a little bit more heat coming into the next games. The tackle count, well, is just on par. Adelaide need to bring a little bit more heat as well in the tackle count. 56, just not quite enough there. Magpies pretty much on season average, but they certainly did put pressure on. So, well, look, all in all, it's probably a pass from both sides, but certainly next week for the Crows, they really need to bring the pressure. I think, Addy G, I think you were saying, is that correct? They're playing the winner of GWS and Hawthorn. Is that right? My gosh, I still can't get the crossovers right, but there we go. Tell you what, 24-point winners to the Magpies is it's what the whole country was looking for. And of course, Addy G, Collingwood being his second favourite team behind Freo, we're glad to have you supporting the Magpies as well. Good on you, Squire. I'm not sure whether we'll get to Craig McRae's press conference. We'll have to just wait and see. Of course, there we go. I tell you what, we did have the poll tonight, and it was really close. 51% said the Magpies. It was about 49% said the Crows. So even everyone in the chat couldn't quite work out who was going to win. But look, we were pretty confident. As Collingwood supporters, we were pretty confident going over there on the road. No Ranky. Of course, he's the one that makes a big difference to Adelaide, giving them that little bit of a spark and flair. And of course, that being said, it was always going to be the Pies I thought was going to be victorious tonight. There we go. I polled twice. Oh, well done. Good stuff, you polled twice. All right. There we go. I don't know whether we want to listen to them. We've been going for probably long enough. We heard Craig McRae talk a little bit after the game, so that's right. So we got a bit of him, got a bit of Matthew Nix's Adelaide coach's comments in his press conference. But don't forget, folks, before I wrap this up, thanks everyone for joining on in. Thanks to the million viewers that tuned on in. Hopefully the fans will listen to this after anyway. But don't forget, tomorrow we've got the next game, Friday night football, and of course Geelong take on the Brisbane Lions. 7:40 is the bounce of the ball at the MCG. That's going to be a ring-a-dink-dink game. I think this is a game the Lions might get over the line, so this is going to be the second outsider to get up. I think Brisbane Lions have certainly had the better path into the finals with a few tougher games to prepare himself for this moment. Geelong had the weaker games, and I think that might hurt them. Magpie Madness and Paul. Adelaide will play the winner of Fremantle and Gold Coast. Oh, okay. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, so, tell you what, I don't know. You know what? I think, look, they just have to worry about winning next week. Adelaide, I think both teams will give a good yelp. Fremantle or Gold Coast going over there. I think they'll, you know what? And I tell you what, you wouldn't want to be either of those teams going in facing Adelaide coming off that defeat. They'll certainly fix a few things up after tonight's match. So that should be another cracking game. What? GWS and Hawthorn? All right, there we go. All right, so we're certainly hoping Adelaide can beat, Adelaide can beat one of those sides. Or, actually, if Hawthorn are playing, I think we want Adelaide to beat Hawthorn. But if GWS Giants are playing, we'll probably go for GWS against Adelaide. There we go. The winner of Freo and Gold Coast will play the loser of the Cats and the Bears. All right, so it looks like Geelong will play Fremantle. That's going to be another good game there. We can chill now. That's right. We can chill. We can just relax. We can hope for a few more suspensions out of those teams. There we go. That's what we're talking about. There we go. Look, we don't want injuries to any other players. We always like, the teams that come out of the ground and beat them at their best. That's the way it is. But the better teams will certainly win on the day. Hey, all right, that's enough of me. I've been chatting too long. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. Hey, until tomorrow night, Friday night football. Oh, yeah, don't forget, the Giants and the Hawks will kick off at 3:15 p.m. Melbourne time on Saturday. And then that evening, Saturday evening, Dockers and the Suns, 7:35 p.m. Melbourne time. That's over there at Optus Stadium over there in Perth. You would think the Dockers would be pretty hard to beat over there. With the form that they have certainly come into the finals with, they're looking really, really good over there. But we'll see. That's going to be a fascinating and interesting game. Of course, it's been years since Fremantle, I think, have played the finals or won a final. And, of course, the first final appearance for the Gold Coast Suns in its history, making history that game there. All right, fellas, everyone, thanks all for coming in. But I'm out of here. That's game, set, match. Don't forget, what you need to worry about is Go Pies. All right, folks, that's all I got for this one. Thanks, fellas. And go Suns from Paul. There we go. All good stuff. Until tomorrow evening, that is 7. I'll be probably going about 7:35 or 7:30 tomorrow night, Friday night football. We'll be covering the Geelong-Brisbane game, so come back then if you want to listen on that. Should be a ring-a-ding-ding game as well. But I think again, Brisbane could possibly win. All right, folks, that's it. I am over now. So until the next game, ciao for now. We'll see you tomorrow night.